What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Elephant Challenge. We are going to have a blast the next couple of days. It's actually going to be a 3-day challenge, and we'll hang out with each other for at least 2, maybe 3, who knows, maybe even 4 hours every single day. I have a new software that I'm going to learn, so this will be a lot of fun for me. Of course, I know how to go find deals. Of course, I know how to do all the things, but every couple of years, there's new software that comes out. And I wish technology did not advance as fast as it does, but technology advances pretty quickly. By the time you learn one software, there's a new software that does things that you wish the old software would do, and the old software company won't adapt those new things. And so you end up jumping ship and going to a new software. It's as simple as that. So some of the things that the new software does that I love and I'm excited about learning is it shows you where all the fix and flippers are. That's kind of cool. It also shows you where all the private money lenders are. So stop and think about that for a second. There are people out there that charge $20,000, $30,000 to teach you how to go find private money lenders. I'm going to show you how to do it this week for free. And this software does that, which is really cool. But the main thing for the Elephant Challenge is my ability to just kind of hang out. Tiffany, good to see you. She says, good to see you, everybody. Eric Blanton says, Pace, you're my new man crush. I appreciate it. If you guys were watching my Instagram today, I was out flying my new plane that I just bought for $0 down, 0% interest. And that's actually where I'm going to start. I'm going to start off on talking about that plane. And for those of you guys that are like, I don't really care about a plane, the plane is really just a good example that there is no limit. There is no limit to what you can buy with CreativeFinance, and there's no limit to what you can do. I think about 15 years ago, if you told me that I was going to be buying things with no money down, no bank, no credit, no cash of my own, I didn't even need to have a W-2 income. I thought, you're lying, you're a scam artist, etc. Now I'm flying a plane that I've paid $0 for. I didn't have to borrow money for it either. I didn't have to go get a private money lender, nothing. And so I'll structure that deal and help you guys understand that today. Yeah, the plane's really cool. Good to see you, Christy. Always good to see you, Christy. I won a green card 2026. Yours on. You really got a green card? You won a green card, or you said you want a green card? Derek says, seriously, thank you so much for putting this community together, helping us escape the rat race. Of course. Thank you guys. And we're going to hang out for a couple of days. So we're going to go slow. For the more advanced people, we have advanced zooms inside of SubTo. We have advanced zooms inside of Gator. This week, we're just going to go super basic, right? What kind of deal should I be looking for? What market should I be in? We're going to talk about the difference between a prospect, a suspect, a lead, and a contract, and a deal. We're going to go through all of that stuff. Suspect, prospect, lead, contract, deal. We're going to talk about those things so that you guys can collaborate with more experienced people and you guys can get a little bit more help communicating the right way. I'll show you guys really great pathways to go get your first deal. And with 3 days together, you're going to learn software the same way I learned software, that for the rest of your life, you never have to worry about where am I going to find a deal, okay? By the way, the second I realize that people start promoting stuff, okay? For those of you guys that say, hey, I want to get more advanced in the community, ask in the side chat who's a SubTo community member and ask them how you can join the SubTo community. That's the best way to do that, okay? Today, this is a free training. This is for the free Facebook group. This is for Gator. This is for SubTo. This is for everybody and anybody. Invite your grandma, invite your friends, invite people you don't like. I don't care. Okay. This training, the Elephant Training, is for everybody. Why do I call it the Elephant Challenge? The Elephant Challenge is because elephants move very slow and steady, The history of the Elephant Challenge started back in 2021. I did it for 2 years and stopped it in 2023. And it got so big that it truly was the Elephant Challenge. And I moved on to other things and it was a lot of fun. But the first Elephant Challenge, I remember people criticizing me for going so slow. And there were people in the side chat that would say, I'm stuck, I need help. And I would answer their question. I'd let people raise their hand. I'd chat with them. And the more advanced people are like, man, this is boring. This is for like kindergartners. Okay, cool. I do other advanced things for really advanced people. RV parks, multifamily, raising private capital, all of those types of things I do all the time. That is not this. This is going to be basically, how can I find the right market? What types of deals should I be going after? Who am I? What are my next couple of steps? I really want to get into this game. Please go slow for me. And the main reason we called it the Elephant Challenge was, how do you take down an elephant? One bite at a time, obviously. And so this Elephant Challenge is all about just doing it one little bite at a time. Can I get a yes for the people here that are like, are we going to go fast? Okay. For the people that are like, I'm here to go advanced. Guys, I have all the advanced Zooms inside of SubTo. We have 14 of them a week. And then we have like 12 mid-range Zooms a week inside of SubTo. And then we have about 10 newbie Zooms a week inside of SubTo. If you want advanced training, go into SubTo. Today, this week is all about just loving on people and going very, very slow. In fact, the oldest member in SubTo, her name is I won't go into her name. She doesn't like when I talk about her age, but she's 92 years old. And she got her first deal at 91. And she got her first deal from the Elephant Challenge. And she needed me to go slow. She needed me to take my time. In fact, the first Elephant Challenge we ever did, it was a 3-day challenge. I ended up extending it 2 extra days just to help her out specifically. And so many people got benefit from that. So we're going to be doing the same thing. Just going to be helping everybody out and go slow. It's never too late, by the way, to win at the game of life. So, all right, let's get started. The first thing I want to do is I want to talk about an airplane I just bought. Again, am I going to teach you how to buy an airplane? No. If you want, you can go to controller.com. Controller.com is where you can find airplanes for sale, and you can reach out to them and ask them if they'd be willing to do seller finance. But that's not what I'm trying to teach you today. What I'm trying to teach you right now is that it is possible for you to buy anything without cash, without credit, without any credentials. Okay. So again, I can show you the technical part of things, but most people that are brand new are going to be so afraid of doing anything that they won't do anything at all. Right. So check this out. I'll show you the technical part. Let's go to controller.com. Controller.com is where you can find used airplanes, and you can go in here and start looking for planes, and you can start talking to people and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. But this is going to be overwhelming, right? It's like, oh my gosh, there's a 2008 Cirrus SR. Ooh, actually, that's a good price. Okay, well, there's a plane right here that I would actually want to buy. Okay, maybe I could reach out to this seller, right? So it's like aircraft locations in California. There's the seller, 323-413-8117. There you go. There's how to find airplanes, okay? But I'm not going, guys, let's all make an agreement, okay? You are not here to try and join SubTo if you're not in SubTo. You're not here to join Gator if you're not in Gator. You're just here to hang out with me for the next couple of days. Can we not like ask questions in the side chat about how do I join SubTo? Can we just make this a non-joining thing? Can I get a yes? Like Deborah Chandler, your question. Can we just, and I will never mute the chat. Don't ever ask me to mute the chat. Don't ever ask me to mute the chat. If you ask me to mute the chat, you should just leave, okay? Just hang out for the next couple of days and stop trying to get ahead of yourself. Just follow along with me, okay? So I can show you where to buy the airplanes. I can show you all of that kind of stuff, but that's not really what I'm trying to do. See, I'm not trying to gatekeep. Here's the website that we look for deals for. There's the phone numbers. You don't need to go spend money on that. Liz DeStaffany is the seller. Like we could call this plane and we could try and work out a seller finance deal, okay? But let me explain to you why buying a plane was actually a smart move for me, because at the end of the day, you want to make a decision to buy assets that make sense for you, all right? I came from a poor family, so buying multifamily the day I got out of high school was not a good fit for me, okay? Just was not a good fit for me. I needed to start in single family. That made more sense to me, okay? So let's talk about this deal. Something that's interesting about airplanes is that when you buy an airplane, you think, oh, I need to buy a new one. Kind of like when you're buying a car, you start thinking, oh my gosh, I need to buy a car. And that car, it needs to be as new as possible. Cars are not engineered the same way that an airplane is engineered. And it is so hard to describe, even to me. I had a hard time with it. The first plane I learned how to fly in was a 1976 airplane. And I'm like, excuse me? You want me to go learn inside of a 1976 airplane? I don't think so. That's 50 years old. That plane's going to fall apart. Guys, these planes are rated for infinite amount of hours. The skeletal structure of a plane will never break. It will never have any issues. It's almost impossible for these planes to ever have issues, at least from the skeletal standpoint. Now, the aeronautics space is the aviation industry is so crazy about the engine and all the other parts is that you're having every 100 hours, you're having check-ins, you're having maintenance done. You are doing overhauls of these engines. You're doing everything you can imagine. So the plane I bought, which is a 1985, when I tell you I bought a 1985 plane, you'll go, why would you buy something so old? Except people in the aviation industry go, that is a new plane. It's crazy how different aviation is than regular vehicles or houses, etc. Aviation, a 1985 plane is relatively new, okay? Because these planes last so long. They're engineered to last forever. Okay, so the reason why I bought this plane, to get you guys to understand this, And it's the same thing why you would buy real estate with CreativeFinance or why you'd buy a business with CreativeFinance is because it suits a need or satisfies a need that you have. We'll talk about single family, multifamily. We'll talk about RV park, self-storage, Section 8, Airbnb. We'll talk about all of that this week. But you're not going to go choose a business that you don't want to run. And if you don't want to buy a plane, why would you buy a plane? Well, here's why it made sense for me to buy a plane. Same reason it made sense for me to go and buy a house in Montana. I was going to Montana every year. I was spending my summers in Montana and I was renting Airbnbs and I really wanted to have a second home in Montana. So it made sense for me to go look for a farm in Montana that I could buy for $1 down and have my family and my kids grow up on this farm in the summertime. I'm not just buying stuff to buy stuff. I'm buying things. I'm controlling assets that make sense for my lifestyle. Can I all get a yes that you understand this? Okay. You all should understand this. So if you look at somebody buying big, huge multifamily properties, you go, okay, well, does that benefit what I want? Does that give me the lifestyle I want? And to a lot of people, the answer is no, it doesn't. To some people, it says yes. And so we will cover all of those things this week in the Elephant Challenge as well. So let's talk about a problem I had that I wanted to solve with my airplane. So just like you guys, think about this. I'm going to depict a problem that I have and how the plane solves that problem and how I get that plane to solve that problem with CreativeFinance. And then I actually make money by solving my problem. We're going to talk about that. As I'm talking through my problem, I want you to think about your problem. Well, I hate my job. I want to retire my wife. I want to retire my husband. I don't want to worry about money anymore. And I need some assets that bring in more money than what my job brings in. That's a problem you want to solve. Okay, well, then you're going to try and solve that by buying an asset or controlling an asset that solves that problem. Pretty freaking simple. Okay, so what's my problem currently? Okay, my problem currently is that my son, who's 17 years old, he's not really entrepreneurial like I was. At his age, I was out working, hustling. I didn't care about hanging out with girls and my friends as much as I cared about making sure I had money in my pocket. Okay, so for me, I'm sitting there going, all right, I need money. 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 My son is like, I want to do soccer. I want to hang out with my friends. And although I've helped my son buy 2 rentals when he was 15 and 16 years old, it's just not something that motivates my son. It just wasn't motivating him. And the reality is it wasn't his passion. And that's just all there is to it. Okay. So Lisa says, who covers the plane if you lease a plane to a flight instructor? So Lisa, you're doing what a typical human will do. You're so smart that you cannot stop from thinking 17 steps ahead. It's pretty obvious that I'm going the direction of how I structured the deal, how the money flows, but you're so smart that you don't want to wait for me to get to that point. So when I remind everybody this is the Elephant Challenge, I'm going to go slow. I'm going to tell you the problem. By the way, if you already haven't gotten value to start thinking like, what can I solve my problem with? Remember, guys, I'm going to go so slow this week. You need me to go slow. If I don't go slow and I just start jumping into lease payments and insurance, guess what happens to most of the audience that are new? Goes right over their head. So Lisa, my friend, please, everybody else, please hang with me. Okay. I'm cool with you asking questions about things I've already taught you on, but let's try not to get ahead of ourselves because what's happening, and this is a good learning lesson, most of the problems you have in your existing life is because you're asking questions about issues that you don't even deserve the answer to. Meaning, well, what happens if my tenant doesn't pay? Why are you asking a question when you don't even have a rental property? Like, people will ask questions about problems they don't even have because that's the way their brain is wired. You have the amygdala inside of your brain that will prevent you from getting hurt. And so your amygdala is controlling you right now. It's like already identifying every possible problem, every possible expense, every possible reason why not to do something, and you have never even done anything. Isn't that crazy how our brain will literally just control everything we do? Okay, so please just choose this week that your brain's not going to get ahead of your learning. Ask questions based on what we've been taught. Like if I teach you something and you go, oh my gosh, that makes sense, but I'm still confused about how that happened. Will you give me more detail? Happy about that. But if I'm going to give you a breakdown about a plane, number one, understand I'm not actually talking about a plane. I'm talking about you and your job that you hate and your situation that you're not happy in your life. You're 72 years old and you should have retired because the normal financial structure said that you would. And now inflation's taken over and your money situation is total crap. And you're saying, I need something to supplement my income. Okay, well, that's your problem. Yo, that's so weird. I don't know what happened there, but that's so weird. My computer just tripped out. So sorry about that, guys. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. My computer glitched out, but I'm back. So we're good. It's all good. It just happens. Welcome to life. Okay. So what we're going to be talking about is you have a problem in your life. How do we solve it? And I'm just going to go through the same thing with something in my life. I'm going to talk about and identify a problem. What's my problem? My problem is I have a 17-year-old son and I have a cause for concern. I'm concerned about my son. Okay. I'm concerned about something. Can we all in our own mind be adults and replace my son with a problem that you have in your life? Give me a yes or a no. We're all adults. You can replace this problem, my son, with your problem, right? You can go right here and in your mind, you can take the eraser and you can erase my son from the middle. And you can basically just go, all right, well, obviously Asher is not my concern. My concern is the job I hate and my boss I hate, right? You can put your boss in there, your job. You can put inflation. You can put all these things in here. My family, my wife, whatever those problems are, you have something you're concerned about, okay? Can you guys all put the thing you're concerned about in the side chat for me, please? Because what I need you guys to understand that even though I'm talking about Asher and I'm going to talk about an airplane for the next 25, 30 minutes, I need you to understand that I'm not actually talking about Asher. I'm using Asher as a good example for you and that CreativeFinance and the things that I know can solve literally any problem. Cool. A lot of people are saying money. Cool. Retirement. Awesome. Type of employment, generational wealth, being able to retire my family, passive income. I want my mental health. Love it. Children's future. Okay. Job and finances. Cool. Love it, love it, love it. No job. I want a homestead to grow my children. Have safe harbor. Love that, Angela. That's great. Passive income, creating future. Okay. So everybody understands, give me a yes, that this little problem you're concerned with is what I'm using as Asher and my concern around Asher. Give me a yes that we all understand how this works. So people that come to my training sometimes like, why is he talking about his son so long? Well, because a smart person will understand that I'm using my son as an analogy to help you understand something. Okay. So here's my problem. My problem is my 17-year-old boy. My concern with my boy is that I want him to be AI proof, right? What am I going to have my son do that allows him to be AI proof? That's one of my concerns. I'm also worried, how's my son going to make money when he gets older? I'm also concerned, does my son have a thing? Like, what's my son's thing? Is he going to be a doctor, a lawyer? What's his thing? What can I get him to do? And how can I get my son passionate about learning? I'm concerned about all of these things. Okay. So I sit here and I'm like, I want to make sure my son is a good father and that he knows how to support his wife. I come from a traditional household. I think that the father, his role is to support the mother, and the mother's job is, Michael Shelley says, AI proof. Yeah. AI proof means, for those of you guys that think that your job is not going to be affected by AI, you are absolutely lying to yourself. And your ego is not letting you just admit that AI robots are going to come and decimate everybody that does not own real estate in the next 15 years. You're done. Surgeons. Did you guys see what Elon Musk just posted 2 days ago? He said, we now have a robotic surgeon that's better at heart surgery than a full-on 25-year veteran on heart surgery. Surgeons, doctors, attorneys are cooked. Architects, you're cooked. Like graphic designers, cooked. Video editors, cooked. Welcome to the future. So what do you tell your kids to do? What do I tell my daughters to do? What do I tell my son Asher to do, right? Do you see my issue, my concern? Cool. So I think the main thing I need for Asher to do is I need my son to learn something that's powerful, and I don't want my son to ever have a job, because a job is just a prison. We already know that. And a job is it's not necessarily a prison. It's a good stepping stone if you want it to be, and it's a good prison if you let it be, right? So my son, for example, I want you to learn. What I told my son is I'm going to get you a couple of rentals. And what I found, this is back when he was 14, 15, and 16, is that he wasn't passionate about it, right? Money was not a cool thing for him. Why? Because everybody's different. That's why. Okay. Everybody is different. That is why. Some people go, oh, he's not motivated. No, everybody's different. Okay. I would argue that a lot of my friends, I have a friend that just sold the company for $300 million and he has never been married. He's 68 years old, never been married, never had kids. You couldn't give me all the wealth in the world. You couldn't give me all the fancy anything, boats, helicopters, yachts, trillions of dollars. You couldn't even give me the power to fly or even laser eyeballs for me to miss one of my children in my family. So I already know that my wealth is not all about money. My wealth is about the total ecosystem of my life, right? My children are worth everything to me. Yet I have friends that money is everything to them. And then they get to 62 years old. They sell their company for $300 million. They go, all right, Pace, I'm going to go find a wife like you. I'm like, your kids, you're going to be 85 when your kids are 20. Like, you missed your life, bro. And you were chasing money. And so money's important, but it's only important up until a point, right? So everybody's different. Everybody's age and phase and everything is different. And that's perfectly fine. My son, who's 14, 15, 16, when I helped him get his first 2 rentals, the lesson I really wanted my son to learn was, let's get you a couple of SubTo rentals. You'll take that cash flow. Half of the money you get to keep. The other half, you have to invest it on behalf of your sisters. Why? Because I didn't want him to learn rentals was the game. I wanted him to learn that taking care of human beings, especially females, was the game that he was playing for the rest of his life. That was the lesson I wanted my son to learn. Okay, cool. Well, guess what? I just felt like I was always dragging him through all of that. It wasn't fun, and he wasn't passionate about it. And so when he turned 17 years old, I said, hey, I'm not going to push on you on the rental thing. But what I am going to do is I am going to push on you to have a thing. And I think a good thing for you would be to go and get your pilot's license. Because I think what you're going to learn is you're going to learn checklists. You're going to learn how to follow instructions, right? You're going to make new friends and community with people that are also fellow pilots. You're going to go and learn that the world has no limit. Like, when I first started to travel and I started looking at the ground as I was flying over cities, I was like, there's so much money. I literally don't even need 1% of 1% of 1% of the money. There is so much money to be made in this world. And the way I feel that is when I fly. Okay. There you go. Peter says it's your dream, not his. Cool. So what ended up happening is I told my son, I said, look, this is what I'm going to do. I want you to never have to have a job. I don't want you to have a job, because a job, again, is I don't want to teach you the lessons that you're going to have at a job. A job could teach you all of these things, but it's not going to teach you how to be free. And there's a really cool thing that he learned, and he told me about a week ago that I'm leading up to. So just give me a minute. So what I did is I went and found a training program. And this training program, please pay attention, because you're going to start asking questions about my plane I bought, and it's going to already be answered before you even start asking questions. So I went and found a training company, and I rent the plane he flies in, and I also pay the instructor who instructs him. Okay? The plane I rent is about $110 an hour. The instructor I pay is about $75 an hour. So I'm $200 for every hour that Asher needs to learn how to go fly. Okay? Awesome. So that means that I'm spending, if he goes and flies in a week, if he flies 8 hours in a week, what did I spend? If my son goes and flies 8 hours in a week, how much money did I spend? I spent $1,600 in a week, didn't I? Cool. Now, what's interesting is I also have a little bit of extra money on the side that I have to pay for fuel and some insurance and some other things, which is another $100 an hour. So technically, how much money am I spending? I'm spending $2,400 a week for my son to learn how to be a pilot. That's a lot of money. $2,400 per week. All right. So I have a concern, right? Remember my concern. My concern is my son. I want him to be a good husband, good father. I want him to be AI proof, right? I want him to be solutions oriented. I want him to be able to make money. I want him to have a thing and be passionate about something. But my gosh, how many people can go and solve a problem? I mean, obviously, what is this? $8,000. This is $9,600 a month is what I'm spending for Asher to learn how to be a pilot. That's crazy. How many people could afford that right now? It's just like, oh yeah, well, I can just throw $9,600 out for my son. $9,600. Okay. That's a lot. Does everybody see my problem that I have right now? Give me a yes. You understand, you see my problem. Okay. Now, again, I can replace this problem right here with anything else. That could be my monthly nut, right? Groceries, car payment. That could be anything. That could literally be anything that's $9,600 a month. And if you think about everything creatively with CreativeFinance, was what I teach and what I've mastered over the last 15 years, I can solve this problem very easily. but I needed to take the time to express to you the problem. So I want Asher to get hours. Why? Because Asher's not going to be any significant status in the aviation field until he's at about 1,500 hours. What? 1,500 hours? You're joking me. 1,500 hours? I mean, we're talking freaking $3 million or some crazy number in order for him to get there. Okay. Allison says he bought a plane as a solution, but that's very, very small part of it. Pay attention, because my son is learning how to use CreativeFinance, not just in the purchase of the plane, but also how he can go out and get hours. Okay. So check this out. This is bonkers. Okay. Got it. There's two ways. There you go. Rick P says you can be a flight instructor and get paid to fly. It's actually better than that. Okay. Check this out. So I go and I find a plane. Okay. This plane is a 1985 Piper is the manufacturer, Warrior is the make, and this plane is awesome. You guys probably saw it on my social media today. Okay, of course, yes, I do get tax benefits. I found what the retail price was for this plane was $85,000. So I offered to the seller, I'll pay you $85,000. I will not even fight with you on price. Okay, and I want to buy this, but I want $0 down. So seller gave me $0 down. Why? Why would the seller give me $0 down? The reason why is because I gave them the price they wanted, and because I built rapport. I built trust and rapport with this person. I didn't just go, hey, I saw your plane online, I built a relationship. I built rapport, and I said, I'm doing this for my son. I want my son to become a pilot. Can you help me solve this problem? The seller says, absolutely. So what ends up happening is I told the seller, I said, hey, I want to do a deal where I teach my son how to buy something with no money out of pocket. So will you pay for the closing costs? So the seller is paying for the closing costs. So that's attorney's fees. That's a transaction coordinator. That's a title company. Also, there's some inspections. And I even asked the seller to throw in a paint job on top of it and finance all of this together. And then I will start making him payments. So the total cost with the paint, the inspections, some minor repairs, title work, TC, attorney, all the closing costs, everything all together is going to end up being about $100,000. Give me a yes that you're tracking me where that $100,000 came from. Okay. So what I told the seller is like, I don't want to pay for anything. And also the seller, part of that $100,000 also was a delivery fee. So he delivered the plane yesterday with my son. My son just got 9 hours in the plane yesterday. And this seller flew the plane all the way from Arizona and gave my son an extra 9 hours in the plane. Cool. So I now have a plane for $100,000. How much money have I put into this plane so far? How much credit did I put into this plane so far? So I have no money, zero. I have no credit, zero. Was there a bank involved? Nope. Did I have to have a W-2 or a job? Did I have to show tax returns? Nope. Okay, interesting. So while this seems like a scam on the outside, like I bought a plane for free. Guys, some people beg, this is incredible. Guys, this is standard. This is standard for me. Standard. Okay, I bundle all of my stuff together. You can look at the tail number on the plane. You can see it's a real plane. Go on my Instagram. You can go see who the owner was. You can reach out to the owner. This is standard for me. And so while everybody else is like, I need to save up money. Do I need to save up money? Do I need to go fix my credit? Do I need to also even have a social security number for this? Yes or no? No. Okay. This is just how I solve my life problems. I want a new car. Okay, well, I don't want to go to a car dealership, so I go buy an Escalade and I take over somebody's payments. I want to farm in Montana. I go take over somebody's payments. I want to buy an RV park. I ask the seller to seller finance me so they can retire, right? Everybody's at a different phase of their life. I'm in the acquisition stage of my life where I want ownership of things. And there's people that are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s that are like, I want to retire and just get a monthly check. Cool. I can do that on literally anything you can imagine. I've done it on golf carts. I've done it on golf equipment. I've done it on camera equipment. A retro flag that was like $1,000 American flag. I did seller finance on a flag. I've done it on my John Deere tractor. I bought a $40,000 John Deere tractor last summer. $0 down, 0% interest. I make a payment to the seller every single month. That payment comes from my RV park where we use the deal. By the way, guys, anybody that uses, like, you see Sonia Wealthy Consultant in the side chat, anybody that's like promoting their business in the Elephant Challenge, please don't do that, my friends. Please just don't. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Please don't promote in here. Otherwise, I got to delete you, and Carly's in the background and she'll kick you out. Do we all get a yes? We agree with this? Okay. Don't use my hard work and my brand and the trust I've built with people to promote in a free challenge. This is not a Gator Zoom. This is not a SubTo Zoom. This is not a top tier TC Zoom. This is a free Zoom for everybody on the planet to come and hang out. Okay. Please don't promote. It's the only rule I have in here. Don't promote. Okay. Because what it does is it takes people's attention. Okay. All right, cool. So I have a $9,600 a month problem. That's what I have. And some of you guys have a $1,000 a month problem. Some of you guys have a $5,000 a month problem. How many people in here feel comfortable telling me what your monthly problem is? I want to quit my job, $7,000 a month. I want to retire my wife. It's $12,000 a month, $4,000 a month. Got it. Janeth says 15,000. Charles says 20,000, 12,000 a month, 25,000 a month. Cool. That's your problem. And you just have to think creatively. And you have to learn how to go find things and find solutions that will solve your problem. I don't look at it as an hourly wage. Like so many people go, I got to get a raise at my job. I'm like, really? Is that as creative as you can think? So let's talk about how I solved this problem. Did I solve the $9,600 problem? Well, I still have to pay for a flight instructor, and I have to pay for fuel, and I still have to pay for insurance and maintenance on the plane, don't I? Or do I? Let's think about this truly in a way that can create a solution to all my problems. My problem is $9,600 a month. Okay, well, here's the cool thing. My payment on the plane will start actually in 2 years. I know, welcome to life. I have a lot of these deals where my payments don't start for 12 months. I have a lot of deals that my payments don't start for 3 months. So I have no payments for 2 years on this plane. I'm going to say that again, 2 years. People are like, oh, that's not standard. No, that's not what you're used to. Also, I look at people that buy things and go through a bank. That's crazy. Mike Davis says, what kind of sorcery do you use? It's called rapport, my friends. Rapport, and telling the seller what my problem is. I explain to the seller, this is the problem I have. I have a son that I want to be successful. I want to teach my son he can have anything in life if he just structures it the right way, okay? So I make it so there's no payments for 2 years. Not that I need that, because I am going to make my son make payments, but this is what's in the contract. Listen to me. I put this in the contract. Do I need to follow that? No, I can have my son make the payments, but what I want is my son to be able to make money. So this is what I'm doing. My son has an instructor. This instructor has been teaching my son how to fly, and this instructor is charging $75 an hour for his time. Awesome. Now, guess what's cool is we give this instructor a 60-hour per minimum contract that he rents this plane from my son for 60 hours minimum. That's 15 hours a week. That's 2 hours a day. You think a flight instructor can rent my son's plane for 2 hours a day on average? Yes or no? That's pretty simple, okay? Because this instructor has like 5 instructors underneath him. He wants to build his business, his instructing business up, okay? So what he does is he goes, yeah, I need another plane, but guess what? What does the instructor not know that I do? The instructor doesn't know creative finance. The instructor thinks I went out and bought a $100,000 plane, and I'm not going to tell him the truth. I'm not going to tell him, hey man, I'm no money into this, but I'm going to make you pay me. So what I'm charging is I'm charging this guy $100 an hour for my plane, minimum 60 hours. So even if he doesn't fly at 60 hours, he has to write a check to my son and me for $6,000 a month. Okay. Guess what's cool about this, my friends? Guess what's cool about this? This is triple net, which means he's also in charge of the insurance, he's also in charge of the repairs, and he's also in charge of the fuel, etc. on the plane. Okay, so do you think my son can make payments before he needs to make payments? Yes or no? My friends, stop and think for a minute. Do you believe that whatever your problem is in life, $25,000 a month, $7,000 a month, $4,000 a month. Do you think that there's a solution that's similar to this that you could go and create a solution to your problem within 30 to 60 days? Maybe it's out there, right? Let's say you put me in your shoes. Doesn't matter who it is. Right now, I've got a homeless lady. I'm helping her get off the streets. Her name is Maddie, if you guys have been following me on this story. Do you think I could go into your shoes, whatever your situation is, retire your wife, get you out of your corporate job? Do you think that there's something I could do? If I spent 30 days in your shoes with your problems, do you think I could solve your problem within 30 days? Somebody, by the way, guys, this whole debt thing is such a childish way to think. Like, don't think about debt. That's a crazy thing. Allison says, Allison, I have like hundreds of millions of dollars in debt. Like, debt is not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Okay. If you're thinking, Allison says not that kind, so like credit card debt, cool. Restructure it, have your payments make payments to your stuff. Okay. All right, cool. By the way, did I grow up poor? Yes. Did I grow up a working class guy? Yes. I grew up painting houses. I didn't stop being a contractor until I was 30. I didn't know any of this stuff. I didn't know any of this stuff up until 12 years ago, 13 years ago. Student loans and credit cards do what? Are you paying on them right now? Can't you restructure them? Or what's your payment on them, Allison? Like that's also goes back to your problem. You guys think so much about your $500,000 debt. Why don't you just think about your payment and go, man, if I had something paying me every single month, does it really matter how much money I owe? Yes or no? Okay, stop thinking about the $500,000 debt. That's a brain like aneurysm you're going to give yourself. Just go, what's my monthly payment? What's the creative solution I can provide to get that money? Okay, cool. So let's go back to my son. My son, pay attention because there's so much more to this. Okay, so much more in this. Yes, Roger says, can you help me use CreativeFinance for multifamily? Yes, I teach people that how to do that in SubTo all the time. Most of what I do today in my personal business is RV parks, mobile home parks, and multifamily stuff. Okay, I have hundreds of single family homes. I've helped 20,000 people do CreativeFinance, 20,000 people. Okay, there you go. Elisa Dick says, what's the monthly payment? What's the creative solution to find it? By the way, I want to be very clear. Did I use any money whatsoever? Did I borrow money? Did I use a credit card and like go pull money off of it? Did I go get a private money lender? Or did I just use my brain and think creatively to solve this problem? So don't give me this crap of I don't have money. Don't give me this crap that I'm homeless. It's crap. It's an excuse. You know it's an excuse. I've got a homeless lady right now named Maddie. She's in a shelter. She has 24 more days to go. You don't see me sweating. I'm fully confident that I'll get her out of her shelter in less than 24 days. Okay? So use your creative brain. We're going to talk about that for the next couple of days. Okay? So my son, here's the rest of his solution. So the instructor is going to rent it for $6,000 a month minimum. That's going to be our rent payment that comes to my son and myself. So does my son have to worry about the insurance? Does he have to worry about the repairs, the fuel, any of that kind of stuff? And also, does he have to worry about the hangar fee to rent the hangar space? No. Okay. I'm not eating seaweed tonight. Sadly, Stephanie, I'm eating throat drops. My throat hurts really bad. Okay. So my son doesn't have to pay for any of these things, which is awesome. What am I teaching my son? Am I teaching my son how to fly a plane? Or am I teaching my son how to solve problems and avoid a job? Okay. Shashat says, Pace, it all starts with building rapport instantly. Talk about that, please. Okay, so Shaswat Kumar. Y'all have friends. Y'all have taken people on dates. Do you really need me to teach you how to talk to another human being and make them like you? Like, do you really need that? No. You've been on a date before. You've gone and hung out with your friends. You need to read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Okay? There you go. You don't need that. That's beginner strategy. Go learn that somewhere else. Go read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I forget. No, there's no way. Come on. Okay, so here we go. My son has no expenses on this plane. Neither do I. I've financed 100% of it. I've given the seller everything he asked for. Where did he find the instructor to pay in the chat? Okay, so check this out, guys. Brandon Samples. I did not answer the question because I'm surprised that you even have that answer. Like maybe, Brandon, you think that I'm actually trying to teach you how to, guys, am I trying to teach you how to structure an airplane deal? Yes or no? Look at the side chat, Brandon. I'm not trying to teach you how to do that. I'm trying to teach you to replace the airplane problem with your own problem and realize that there is a creative solution to bring in enough money to solve whatever your problem is. And what I'm trying to get you to do is realize that there's ways to do this with no money, no credit. You just have to be creative. So watch how easy this is, okay? There's this thing. It's kind of crazy. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but it's this thing called Google. Okay, so check this out. So let's go to Mesa, Arizona flight instructors. Just Google something. Okay, Leopard Aviation, Relentless Flight, Aviation Tutors. Ooh, Super Prof, which is like they'll find people for you and they'll have teachers reach out to you. Awesome, Leopard Aviation. Ooh, look at all these flight schools at the local airport. Let's open this up. All right. Well, you think there's some flight schools that I could maybe reach out to and say, do you guys need? The one flight school that won't rent from you is CAE. They're the largest flight school in the world. The one my son goes with is not even on here. Their hangar is right here. But look at all these flight schools. And if I zoom out, I can tell you that they've got more flight schools at every single airport. Every airport has a flight school. I could just keep zooming out. Check this out. Let's go search this area and let's go to, I don't want Mesa, Arizona. Let's just say flight instructors. Okay. You got no problem finding flight instructors. Okay. You can go right here to the Scottsdale one, Sierra. There you go. Call them up. Hey, I have a plane. Would you guys want to rent that from me? Okay. All these people that are learning how to be pilots, huge business. Okay. There you go. Did I answer your question? Everybody? Pace, where do you find the planes? I already told you that too. But again, I'm not here to teach you how to go find planes and structure them. There you go. Controller.com. There you go. You got controller.com. You find the plane. You go and you can go and lease these planes to them. There you go. There's your solution. Okay. Have I answered that question? Can I go back to the deal structure? We understand where I find the planes and you understand where you find the lease. Cool. Awesome. We want to actually get into real estate because 99% of you guys don't care about the plane. I'm not trying to teach you about the plane. It's just I was in a plane today that I bought and I thought this would be really great for people to understand is that every problem you have in the world, you guys think, well, I'm going to go to my job and I'm going to save up money. And while you're saving up money, the government comes and kicks in inflation and there goes all the money you saved. And life passes you by because you are not thinking creatively. You're thinking the way you were taught to think. My son has $6,000 coming in every month. So let's talk about his net. Okay. My son has $6,000 coming in every single month. What I want my son to have to do is he is supposed to go out, pay attention to this. Are we all on the same page of where the $6,000 is coming from? Yes or no? Okay, awesome. Sounds like 99% of people are like, heck yes, we understand it. Okay, now is this triple net? Remember, triple net means my son is not paying for the taxes, the insurance, the upkeep. He's not dealing with the maintenance issues. He's not dealing with the hangar. It is literally the guy pays him $6,000 and the renter, his name is Brent, is paying all of those things out of his pocket. Okay. It's very similar to like a Starbucks building. When you guys go to Starbucks, Starbucks is renting that building. Starbucks owns very little real estate. Dutch Brothers owns very little real estate. They don't own those buildings that they are in. Surprise, surprise. Starbucks does not own those buildings. Did anybody not know that? Starbucks does not own those buildings. They rent them from people like me. And I give them a rent payment, but they are in charge of the taxes and the insurance and the upkeep and the maintenance and all of those things. I'm not in charge of anything. They don't call you for anything. It's a triple net lease. Cool. So my son gets $6,000 a month, but the problem is my son still needs to go out and get his hours, right? So what my son is going to do is my son is going to spend $2,000 of this money on his instructor and $4,000 a month on the payment. So he's going to save up all the money to pay off the plane, and he will pay off the plane in about 2.5 years. Okay. His instructor, my son needs to obviously go get more hours. And so he's going to have 20 hours every single month that he pays his instructor. My son doesn't have to pay for the plane payment or any of those types of things. Now, what's cool is this. My son goes, I want to get more than 20 hours a week, Dad. I want to go out, or 20 hours a month. I want to get like 15, 20 hours a week. I want to get 60 hours a month. I go, I know. Pay attention, son. You're going to pay somebody that's an instructor 20 hours a month for you. So that's almost an hour a day. So every 2 days, every 3 days, you're going to go out and spend 2 hours with an instructor that's instructing you and teaching you and coaching you and all of those types of things, giving you good habits. He's like, okay, well, where am I going to get the other 40 hours? Because if I'm trying to get 60 hours a month, how am I going to get the other 40 hours without my instructor? I said, perfect. What you're going to do is you're going to rent your plane because, again, my son doesn't have to give the plane to the trainer. He just has to allocate it for 60 plus hours a month, and they have to book it on my son's schedule. So my son can have open time on this plane, and my son can rent the plane out to individuals that are just trying to build hours. You guys probably don't understand this about the business, but you have to build hours to become a commercial pilot, etc. And so while my son sits in the plane with somebody else, my son is building hours while they are renting the plane from him. So my son sits in the plane and builds hours as they build hours. Does that make sense? So my son is building hours, making money, plane is completely free, and my son is getting into a situation. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Emmanuel, you guessed it like 30 minutes ago. Sub-2 flight hours. My son is buying his own flight instruction subject to somebody else, and he's getting paid. This is how we do real estate. This is how we go out and we buy houses. We buy RV parks this way. We buy businesses this way. This is how we go and structure. We find sellers who have things that we want. RV parks, storage units, Section 8 houses, RV parks, multifamily, small multifamily, whatever it may be. We find these properties and we figure out how to structure it so the seller wins and we win. It's as simple as that. And when people go, oh, it's got to be harder than that. No, the hardest part is getting over the fear of just doing something you've never done before. That really is the thing. I could give you all the information. I could go on my YouTube. I have 3,700 YouTube videos. Me calling sellers is unedited, hours and hours and hours of videos. And people are so dang afraid of their own dang shadow because their parents didn't teach them to be fearless. People taught you to be fearful, taught you how to be fearful. And so here you are, 65, 70 years old, whatever it may be, and going, I got a problem. I lived my whole life thinking that my job was going to save me. My retirement was going to be enough. How many people in here have lived a life where you're like, I have been in a job for 30 years and I still don't have enough money to retire? How many people? You were lied to. And what's crazy is that people will say to me like, oh, creative finance sounds like a scam. I'm like, okay, so you tell me what's a scam. I can give you my contracts. I can show you my bank balance. I can show you the tail number of the plane. I can show you proof of everything I did. I solved a problem that I had, a $9,600 a month problem, and I turned it into a free plane because I thought creatively. Now, it took me a couple of months to find the seller. Is $9,600 a month not worth your time? People go to school for 20 years or go to school for 10 years, and then go to a job for 10 years, and they still don't make $9,600 a month. I solved the problem in a couple of months. Pace, how are you getting seller finance on apartment building? How do you do no money down? Okay, it needs to be renovated or knocked down. Okay, so Shelly Henshaw. Let's talk to Shelly Henshaw for a little bit. By the way, we're going to learn how to use this software today in about an hour. So love the question. Thank you so much, Shelly. Let me come to you. Let's pull you up here. Where'd she go? Well, she has an E after her L. I love it. Shelly Henshaw, you must be an Android user. Shelly, are you an Android user?
No, I'm not.
Why do you have two devices listening today?
Let me, I have my computer on.
It's usually my PC users or my Android users that have like 2 or 3 devices playing at the same time. Can you still hear me?
Yep. Is that better?
Awesome. Yeah, that's better. Awesome.
Perfect.
Okay, so Shelly, you asked a couple of really great questions. So Shelly, let me tell you guys something that poor people don't know. And I'm one of those poor people. I didn't know this when I first started in this game. Did you know that 80% of businesses that sell have some sort of seller finance involved in them? 80% of sellers will give every transaction that's ever happened. 80% of businesses will sell with some form of seller finance. Did you know that?
No.
It's not uncommon. It's not common. It is very common. In fact, it's almost uncommon for you not to see seller finance involved in a business transaction. Okay. So in a business transaction, somebody buying or selling a business, there's all sorts of creative structures like, hey, I'm going to buy your air. I know you're not asking about businesses. I'm leading into the answer, if that makes sense. So if I want to go buy a landscape, here's a really good one. I have a friend of mine that sold his orthodontist business. What's the problem with the orthodontist selling his business to another orthodontist? What's the biggest problem do you think they'll face, Shelly? She muted herself. Shelly, there you are. Do it again. Unmute yourself again. What's the biggest problem the seller will have as an orthodontist selling their business? Shelly, you are muted, so you're going to have to unmute yourself to talk.
Sorry, I don't know why it just muted me by itself there. But the biggest problem would be...
People are putting in the side chat already.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm going to have to look.
Okay, so it is...
Patients can leave. That makes a lot of sense.
There you go. So the orthodontist builds a relationship with people, right? They've got their fingers in your mouth. Usually you got to get married to get that to happen to you, you know? Sorry, a little joke there. Orthodontists are so intimate. Like they know you, they know your family. They're sitting there talking to you. They have met your family. You're like, my mom had the same orthodontist, Scott, do all of the family members' braces. She has a comfort there, right? She has a level of understanding there. So is it going to be easy when Scott sells his business to Tim and Tim comes in and goes, oh yeah, Scott isn't here anymore. What do you think is going to happen to that business over time?
It's going to dwindle.
It's going to dwindle, right? Or dramatically decrease because people are like, well, I'm going to go find another person. I don't like this. So there's long payout agreements, meaning, hey, Scott, I want to buy your business, your orthodontist business, but I need you to be my partner for the next 24 months. So as patients come in, they see your face, but then you and I sit next to each other literally for 2 years. So they start seeing me over time, and then you slowly dissipate. That's welcome to selling an orthodontist business. Same thing with being a doctor, same thing with being an attorney, same thing with being a lot of those things, that the face of the business is the biggest bottleneck. Okay. So when you're in businesses, 80% of businesses need some sort of creative finance, 80% of them. Now let's go into multifamily. Do we all understand why businesses need creative finance, and that the whole cash thing that people think I need to save up money is an absolute farce? It's an absolute lie that we were told, or holy crap, why did somebody not tell this to me? Pace is speaking plain English to me. It just freaking makes sense. Okay, well, what about multifamily? So let's talk about multifamily for a second. I'm going to break your brain, Shelly, on multifamily. Who do you think is the typical, like, tell me who the typical seller of a multifamily property looks like. Like, what suit are they wearing? What color tie do they have? What kind of vehicle? What kind of sports car are they driving? What kind of person are we talking about here?
They're probably wearing jeans, maybe a nice white shirt, and they may just be driving, let's say, a nice pickup truck or something.
Okay. So you're going after the millionaire next door type of mentality. Is that right? You haven't read that book, it sounds like.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so The Millionaire Next Door is an amazing book that talks about how the majority of millionaires in the United States are your neighbors that you don't even realize that they're multimillionaires. By the way, being a millionaire is no longer cool. You guys realize that 20% of the United States is now a millionaire? It's not cool. Being a millionaire is not cool. Being worth $10 million is actually not cool anymore, especially because of inflation. Like, high net worth is considered $30 million now. Being a millionaire is no longer cool. It's kind of standard. You don't have 5 rentals, you're a millionaire. Okay. Heidi says most live in New York. Yeah, maybe. So here we go. The typical multifamily seller that I talk to, Shelly, is somebody who is 58 to 75, and they owned a business that was not real estate their entire life. And they still own that business at 75 years old. And they finally are sick and tired of being a landlord of these multifamily properties. I'll give you a perfect example of one. I will give you an address and I will show you proof of exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. You ready for like literally every story I could give you about around multifamily and break your brain? By the way, when you think of multifamily, stop thinking A-class multifamily. That is not for you. Nobody in here is ready for A-class multifamily. Here's what A-class multifamily looks like. You are not ready for A-class multifamily. Can I get a yes that everybody agrees? This is A-class right here. Okay. You are not ready for that. We are not talking about this. This is like big hedge funds. These guys have more money than God, and they don't care about making a return for 15, 20 freaking years. You are not ready for this. Okay. Even Grant Cardone, who buys these, good friend of mine, love Grant. He doesn't make his money on the property for years. He makes all his money. Oh my gosh, I could go down this another path. I don't want to bash him at all. I love Uncle Grant. He's awesome. He's amazing. Okay, so let's just look at B-class multifamily. Okay, B-class multifamily is where most of you guys should be. When you're thinking about multifamily, this is what should pop up in your brain. Something like this. Okay, this is the type of multifamily you should be going over. Can we all agree that this is where you should be starting, is something that looks like that? Okay, this is probably right on the edge of being too nice. Another one, okay, that's good B class right here. Just kind of run of the mill B class. This is B class multifamily. Okay, all right. So let's go to La Primera at Green Valley. This is a property I own. Shelly, you still with me?
I am.
Okay, so I own this property. This is in Tucson. So if we pull out, you'll see exactly where this is. I live up here in this area. Okay, I live up here, and this property is all the way down here. It's in a little town called Green Valley. Okay, Green Valley, nice town. I want you to remember this Circle K right here, by the way. Okay, there's a little Circle K right here. I want you to remember that. That comes into this story. I want to paint the picture of exactly what these sellers look like. By the way, this is what I wish somebody would have told me, not how to underwrite a multifamily deal. Y'all don't deserve to underwrite a multifamily deal because you don't even know what the hell what you should be focusing on. This, my friends, Shelly, what does this look like? Does this look like an A class or a B class?
That looks like a B to me.
Yep, it's a B. Good guess. Okay, so this is a property I own, 160 units.
Oh.
Okay, this property I bought all on seller finance. I have no money, no bank loan, no credit check, nothing involved in this property. Do you have any guess what my net is? That means money that goes into our company's pocket after spending every penny that we need to on renovations and payrolls and taxes and insurance and every little thing. The payment to the seller who gave me seller finance, which I'm going to explain in a minute. What do you think I make in my pocket every single month on this 106 multifamily deal? Any guess? Shelly must have muted herself again.
Well, I'm here. I'm like thinking about it. I know people are just throwing numbers out there. 160 units, you said, correct?
Yep, 160,000 is about, so I have my occupancy, which means how many people stay there.
Okay.
I have like 98% occupancy, which means only 2% of my units are empty, which means I'd say 5 units or so are empty, which means I have 155 units that are always full paying their rent. Out of those 155, I'd say 5 of them are constantly late. So 150 of them are actually paying monthly. So my average rent is about $1,000 a month. So that's $150,000 a month I bring in income. That's not cash flow, that's income. Okay. Cash flow is what I can go spend money on sushi for.
I was going to say 160 a month.
It's 150 a month.
No, okay, so, but because of your backing out the other apartments that aren't rented.
There you go. So I'm about 150.
Uh-huh.
Then after I pay my management, I pay the payment to the seller, my taxes, my insurance, all of that kind of stuff. Okay. I take home in my pocket $53,000 every single month.
Ace, I swear to you,
Uh-huh.
I'm not kidding you. I don't know if it was telepathy or what, but that was the exact number I had.
Okay, amazing.
In my head, 53,000.
There you go. It is literally, Deshaun Davis says cap. Love it. So Deshaun Davis, even I could give him the address. He can pull up my address. How many people are partners with me in this deal, by the way? Give me a yes if you're a partner with me in this deal. Okay, so Jose Avilla says, yes, I'm a partner with you. Okay. Deshaun Davis says cap. Or he says that wasn't for you. Guys, I'm giving you the address. Joshua Hayes says we can't see anything. How can you not see anything? I'm sharing the screen with you. Can everybody see it?
Yes.
Okay, everybody can see except for the one person that has an Android. Guys, if you have an Android, you're not allowed to say we can't hear you and we can't see it. We know your Android is not doing its job. Okay. Okay, so La Primera at Green Valley. This is a real property that I own. Pull up the tax records. I bought this on seller finance. Okay. So let's talk about the story here for a second, because Shelly, you're asking a wonderful question. Your first question is like, well, how do you do this with multifamily? It's really simple, actually, really simple. I didn't say it's easy, but it's very simple. Watch how easy this is, or watch how simple this is. Okay, watch. I own a company, and we're going to show you guys a different software today that doesn't cost this much money, but I use a company called Crexy.com. That's like $2,900 a year. But I own a part of this company, and I made them come up with a filter that's free for people. Just go to Crexy.com, Crexi.com, and go to the search bar and type in owner finance. Oh, wait, you're telling me I could buy hotels and car washes and laundromats and all these things that people want to buy, commercial properties, and I could buy gas stations and warehouses and churches, and all of these things I can buy on owner finance? Shelly.
Yep.
I just showed you something you probably have never seen before.
I've been on Crexy actually.
But you've never
typed
not
in owner lately. Finance? Excuse me?
But you've never typed in owner finance, I imagine.
I have not.
Okay, there's your answer.
Yep.
Okay, that's a filter I created.
Perfect.
Okay, so there you go. Have I answered where is an area where you can buy an owner finance deal? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so there you go.
I have a question going back to the 8 units. So
hold on. I want to answer your question entirely. This is the elephant challenge for a purpose. Okay.
Perfect.
There you go. Pauletta Miller says, how do you figure out how to structure your creative terms? You call the seller, which you won't do. You're so deathly afraid of your own gosh dang shadow that you won't do anything. I mean, go on my gosh dang YouTube. If you were going to figure out on your own time, you would have just gone on my YouTube channel and rehearsed everything I said and then called the seller. You won't. I'm not talking about Pauletta Miller. I'm just saying everybody in general. People won't do it. I can show them how to do it. I have thousands of videos on it for free, and people just won't do it. There you go. So Laquana says, so if calling a seller, what would I ask? Go on my YouTube channel, watch 100 videos, and you still won't do it. It's scary.
I'll do it.
Okay, cool. So let me explain why it's so simple for me and why it's so simple for the members in our community. We do role playing every morning, like 2 hours every morning at 5 a.m. and 2 hours every morning at 7 a.m. And we just role play and help each other get ready for these types of calls. But let's talk about the avatar, right? I talked about like, what does this multifamily guy look like? I want to make sure you understand what the average multifamily seller looks like. Okay. The average multifamily seller looks like somebody who's tired, wearing a t-shirt that's stained. Their truck has not been upgraded in a long time, and they're ran ragged. They've saved so much money. Their kids lived a life of unbelievable luxury, and their kids are now spoiled, and the kids don't want to have anything to do with the parents. One, the parents in general, and two, they don't want to have anything to do with the parents' business. They've all gone off, and they all get a monthly payment from their parents. That's like 99% of sellers I talk to. Their kids are not responsible. Why? Write this down because this will help you in your journey for multifamily, RV parks, buying businesses, self-storage, Airbnbs. If you're silly enough to go after Airbnbs, Section 8, whatever it is, whatever you want to do, write this down, why these sellers don't just give these properties to their kids. Write it down. I promise you it's more important than any stupid structure that anybody could teach you on a spreadsheet. These sellers are parents, and the only advantage that they did not give their children is disadvantage. Write that down. Casey Platt, she says, can you please explain why Airbnbs are not smart? Yeah, but you remember, guys, I take 40 minutes to answer a question because I want to make sure it's answered properly. Watch this just real quick. Let's do a little Google search. Airbnb dropped 400,000 listing removal since the launch of its updated hosting quality system in 2023. Airbnb has purged listings with low ratings. So this was a thing that just happened 6 days ago. Airbnb just purged 400,000 listings off of its platform. It's a trash business. Why? Because you're trying to rent properties to people that want high-level experiences, and you're renting to Karens. I don't want to rent to Karens. I don't want to have a 3-night stay at a property. That's a game that a single mom thinks is a cool game to play. Like, I really care about the color of wallpaper, and I really want to design the couches, and I want to go on Wayfair and buy all the cute decorations. Okay, great. The second you have an Airbnb party, a bachelorette party, or a bachelor party, those couches need to be cleaned, my friend. And now Casey says, and I'm a totally single mom. I know. Why do you think it's always the single moms that want to do Airbnbs. So when I have a woman ask me an Airbnb question, I'm like, single mom. Because you are more artistic. You are a nurturer. You are somebody built to go, I want to go design something cute. Awesome. You're going to do one of them. It's going to consume your entire life. I bet you my 160 unit multifamily has less management than one of my Airbnbs. One of my Airbnbs is more of a headache than 160 multifamily deals. Guess what I get on my Airbnbs? Calls in the middle of the night because a breaker went out. Guess what I never get on any of my multifamily? Any calls whatsoever. Okay. What was that you just said? The quote you want us to write down about parents' advantage and disadvantage? Okay. So the quote is this. You have to understand that these sellers of these properties are always business owners that are making too much money in the business that they're in. Construction, accounting, air conditioning, whatever it is. And their tax professional says, you need to buy real estate because you are making too much money. That's 90% of every seller that you will talk between 1 unit up to 180 units is going to be 99% a single operator without any experience in multifamily. By the way, Maxine, I'm not criticizing single moms. I'm identifying that that's an avatar that they identify with, and they go, I want to go design an Airbnb because that seems simple. I'll never buy another Airbnb. We have 17 still left. I used to have 75. I can't get rid of them fast enough. I hate Airbnb. I hate the model. It is such a high touch. Let me design a new experience on this property every 3 years. Like, I want to buy a property and set it and forget it. I don't want to buy a property and every 3 years go, all right, what games do I have to add to the backyard? And what couches do I need to replace? And what new design that I have to attract? Like, you're basically running a micro theme park. Horrible business. I don't want to do it. Okay. So the quote I told you to write down is the parents or the rich landlords that have these properties I'm about to explain, they've given their kids every advantage except for disadvantage. What does that mean? Most rich or wealthy people actually grew up with nothing. They know exactly what it looks like to have to turn their effort, their hard work into something that makes money. That's where most wealthy people come from. If you guys look up the stats of millionaires and billionaires, 91% of them were born with nothing or in poverty. Very few wealthy people actually it was given to them. Very, 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 very few. Okay? And what happens is these family members that give everything to their kids actually make their kids' lives easy. And what is the quote? You guys want to hear one of my favorite quotes of all time? You guys don't think I'm teaching you something. I'm teaching you everything about multifamily. You're not paying attention if you think I'm not. Okay? Watch this. Tough times make strong men, quote. Okay? This is one of the best quotes of all time. Check it out. The popular quote, Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. This is what I'm talking about. And weak men create hard times. Phenomenal quote. You just didn't realize that it had something to do with multifamily real estate, did you? That is a multifamily real estate quote, a business buying quote, if I've ever seen one. Stephanie says, same thing for women. Yes, you guys have 3 letters at the end of the word women, says men. Okay, so tough times, everybody understand this, right? You understand that these parents gave their kids good times, and good times created weak children. Their children don't want to buy the property. Shelly, are you following what I'm saying?
100%.
The reason why I need you to understand this is because what I find, especially with people that are brand new, is they get caught up in like, how do I do it? And give me the structure and give me the scripts. But if you don't understand who you're calling and why they're selling, you are going to have a hard time building rapport with them because you don't know how to navigate the conversation, no matter how many scripts I give you. But if I tell you, here's the mindset of the people, this is why they're selling, why would you ask yourself this question? If everything's going perfect on your multifamily real estate, why would you ever sell it? Why? If it's making so much money, why would you ever sell it?
Because I need time to myself. I need to get out of this. I'm tired of the work.
Okay, so it's making a lot of money though.
I've made a lot of money.
Okay, cool. But now you're saying, so the property's making a lot of money, but now you're saying, well, I'm managing it myself and I need to get out of this and I want to enjoy my life. I didn't expect to be at 75 and still working this multifamily deal, even though it's making a bunch of money, right? That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Cool. Guess what that tells me, Shelly? It tells me that they are, I'm going to say, guys, when I'm teaching, I say some really harsh things because I have a short time frame. I don't really feel this way, but I'm going to say words that sound strong. I don't really feel this way. I'm just condensing and trying to be a little bit more concise. These people were too stupid to go and learn how to delegate to a property management company that would have taken this off their hands 10 years ago. So you're telling me it's making money, but now they're tired, so they're going to sell it. Why would you be tired if you actually learned how to be a professional landlord?
Because they didn't learn that.
There you go. So now you know where the pain is, right?
That's right.
So you got to understand the pain when you're calling these people, because you'll go, this is where people are like, but why? How could you ever get a seller convinced to give you 160 multifamily? They're like, I don't convince them. I understand who to look for before I waste my time. Okay. What most people, and this is what we're going to show you in the Elephant Challenge, is I'm going to filter before I even open my mouth. I'm going to filter out people I know have known pain. Okay, so I'm driving down the road, for example. We've all seen ugly houses. You guys have all learned to go drive by ugly houses and write down ugly house addresses, right? Drive for dollars. You guys have all heard that nonsense. Does it work? Is it effective? Yes. Is it the best use of your time? No. 15 years ago, definitely it was, because there was no software to indicate pain. Now software, we're going to learn software today in about 30 minutes. Software will just literally tell you how long somebody's owned the property, how many other properties they own. You can literally paint a picture of this seller before you call them. I know who they are, what they do. I know everything about them before I call them. And I know that their family members have already gone to prison, or like quite literally when I'm calling on a $20 million purchase, that was a $20 million purchase. I knew everything and everything about that seller. The seller, let me tell you the story. You ready for the story of that seller?
Yes.
Seller was a contractor. He built apartment buildings for other people in Tucson, Arizona, 45, 50 years ago. He was a contractor. He made a lot of money. And when he made a lot of money, guess what he had? He had a lot of taxes. And so his CPA, about 35 years ago, 20 years into him making a ton of money, his CPA says, bro, you're building all these properties for other people. You know, we could save a bunch of money in taxes if you just built one of these things for yourself. It'd be a really great retirement plan for you. That's how 90% of these people are buying real estate. Like, I'm not exaggerating. 90% of these people have no idea how to manage, no idea how to be real estate investors. They're really good at running their active income, and they don't know what to do with their money. Their CPA also is not a great advisor. He just says, go buy real estate. So this guy, he goes and builds this unit. So La Primera at Green Valley, that property, this contractor built 30 years ago. He's like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. So he buys it, or he builds the thing, and he has never renovated the thing in 35 years. Because here's what happens. People who are not professional landlords, people like me, people like you who are learning and they're here, here's what they do. Money comes in, Do you think they put an allocation away for future repairs and what we call CapEx? That's capital expenditures, which is a stupid word for future repairs or current repairs. People in multifamily want you guys so badly to not be in the multifamily world that they come up with stupid words that make no sense to newbies. Just write this one down, okay? They make the water muddy so you think it's deep. They come up with these stupid words like CapEx, dumb. It's called future repairs. Let me put some money to the side because I know that these units are going to have to be renovated and updated. Somebody's going to smoke in this unit for 5 years and then they're going to die and I got to pull them out. Dang, I got to spend some money to repair that unit. Guess what this guy did for 35 years? Never, ever once allocated any money to the side. What he did is he started letting his kids feed off the property. See what happens? Now his kids are not working as hard. Now his kids are still feeding off the family fund. And now the kids aren't going off and making something of themselves. Why would you? You know, it's interesting. I put this little fly trap in my backyard recently. And I was thinking about this fly trap as like the children of a multifamily investor. Flies are way better benefited by eating poop by horses and cows and whatever in my neighborhood. But they have to wait for that poop to come out and be fresh for that fly to eat. I know it's a weird analogy, but this is the way my brain works. The flies would rather come over to my house and go into a trap because the food is sitting there all the time for them. It's always there. They don't have to work for it. They smell it. Oh, it's right there. And what happens? They come over, they fall into the trap and they can't get out. Those flies are the children of multifamily investors. The food is right there for them. And so what ends, everybody understand the analogy? I'm not exaggerating. It is literally every child, every member of every family that owns wealthy stuff. Have you guys heard the stat of like the average family's wealth is dissipated in 3 generations? Let's pull that up. The average family wealth is lost in, there it is, 3 generations. Okay, so it's called the 3rd generation curse. It's a common saying that suggests family wealth will often be lost by the 3rd generation. This is because many wealthy families struggle to preserve their wealth beyond 2 generations, with studies showing that 70% of them lose their wealth by the 2nd generation. Okay, why? Because you didn't need to learn anything. Again, now does it make sense? The only advantage they didn't give their kids is disadvantage. The only advantage they didn't give their kids is disadvantage. Crazy. And you guys are sitting there thinking these are prestigious sellers that have all figured it out. They got major problems. I've had sellers that are like, my son's a heroin addict. If I left him any money, he would kill himself. I literally have a seller named June. She's already dead now, but when I was buying properties from her, I bought 31 single family homes from her, all on seller finance. And June was like, I have to sell these to you on seller finance so that my son will get a monthly payment. If I give him chunks of money, he'll go blow it on women, cars, and heroin. He's already on heroin, but he only gets a little bit of money. There you go. It's crazy. There you go. Gabriel says it. 1 generation builds it. 2nd generation grows it. 3rd generation blows it. Yeah, Aaron Olson says, June the legend. Yeah, Sage told me a little bit about her. I bought 31 properties from her. Cool. So Stephanie says, my purpose is to be able to find the disadvantaged youth and help them. Cool. Well, here's how you help anybody. Help yourself first, put money in your pocket. Somebody that's broke doesn't do a lot for other people. And somebody's like, no, I helped a lot of people and I'm broke. No, you helped a few people and it's not scalable. Okay, cool. So Shelly, this seller, he says, it's time for me to retire and I am having a hard time raising my rents. Shelly, you still with me?
I'm here.
Okay, cool. So the seller says, I'm having a hard time raising my rents. Well, why is he having a hard time raising his rents? The competition in the neighborhood of, let's again go back to the property so you guys can put a visual to it. If we go back to the property, you'll see the visual of La Primera Green Valley. There's other apartment buildings around here. They have competition, right? People are competing for rents. He
never renovated, right?
He never renovated, right? Okay. So people are competing, right? There's other places they can go live. And they can spend their dollars down here at this freaking place right here, this little multifamily spot, right? They want to go and spend their money where it's the best received. They want the most for the least, right? Understandable, by the way. Okay, cool. Well, the problem with that is if you haven't renovated the property in 35 years, you're going to have a hard time raising the rents. And so he's sitting there going, hey, taxes are going up. Insurance is going up, but my profit margin is going down, and I just need to sell and get a chunk of money. Okay, so here's the next problem with a chunk of money. If I built this property 35 years ago, and I was all into it for $5 million, and now I am selling it for $20 million, how much money did I make in appreciation over 35 years?
Not enough.
That's a good answer, but the answer is 15 million. So I'm into it 5 million 35 years ago for building it. Then I turn around and sell it for 20 million. I have a $15 million gain. Guess what I have when I sell anything in the United States and I have a gain on it? What do I get? I get taxed. Okay. He's probably going to get taxed somewhere on 30%. Do you want to own a property for 35 years, Shelly? Make $15 million you think you're going to retire on and pay 30% of that money in taxes? That's going to be like $4.7 million. You think you're happy about paying that to the IRS?
No, nobody would be. So you
Nobody
need to
would
put
be.
it into something else, or could he is that something you can 1031?
Okay, Shelly, let me teach you something. I'm going to teach you one of the most important things I could teach you today, okay?
Sure.
I love being able to do the elephant challenge. I miss this basic stuff. This is just so basic, run of the mill. You need to know this kind of stuff, okay? I have taught this multiple times. Shelly, do you know anybody that's divorced?
Yes, me.
Okay, so you're okay, perfect. You're a perfect example. Shelly, what if I told you I'm the divorce court, okay? You come down to file your divorce papers, right? And you remember what this felt like, right? And you wanted to divorce some asshole, correct? Because this asshole is giving you a pain in the neck. He's cheating on you. He's not doing what he said he was going to do. He's lying to you, whatever it is, okay? Whatever the problem is, he's doing whatever is causing the issue that you want to get rid of, correct?
Right.
So the divorce court says, hey, Shelly, you can divorce this asshole, but only if you marry a bigger asshole. Would you be?
No, thank you.
But that's what a 1031 exchange is.
Okay.
A 1031 exchange is, remember this for the rest of your lives, I have to sell this property and I have to 1031 into a larger property that I don't understand, I don't have a good control over, and I'm 75 years old, and I thought I was going to be done with my life. Is 1031 a viable retirement strategy, yes or no?
I don't believe so.
It absolutely is not. 1031 is for the youth, okay? You do not 1031 to retire. You 1031 to grow, okay? You don't 1031 to retire. You 1031 to grow an empire, okay?
Okay.
You cannot retire through a 1031 because it's like me telling you, hey, the only way you're going to divorce this ugly son of a gun that's been causing you issues is if you marry this other one that is known to have bigger issues. Why? Because you can't 1031 a $20 million property into a $20 million property. You have to go up in value. You have to roll it to a larger asset. Does that make sense?
Yes. So is there any way that you can not pay these taxes? Or
yeah, it's called seller finance.
That is honest? Okay.
It's called seller finance. This is why creative finance dominates everything. By the way, Bradley Hodges, okay? This is an interesting one, okay? So Bradley Hodges says, no, open a trust so trust gains so you work. That is so incorrect. You talk to any actual like legal tax professional, somebody that will say, yes, here's my tax returns. I will sign off on it if you don't get audited and get in trouble. Trusts, people that like make these things up about trusts. I have a family office and I have the highest level financial advisor you could imagine that advises for very, very smart, savvy people that are all creative. You are correct. There are ways that smart people like me can get around taxes. But remember, Bradley, we are not talking about us. We are talking about the seller and the avatar of the seller that is the typical seller in these situations. Is it you and is it me? Yes or no? So
it's about the seller.
Yes. And I'm going to give you rule number 1 of creative finance. You ready for the rule number 1 of creative finance? I have the 10 commandments. Okay. Here is the 10 commandments of creative finance. Commandment number 1, never put your brain in the seller's head. There's a difference there. I didn't say don't exchange your brain. I said don't put your brain in their head, meaning their body is in a situation right now that needs to make a decision. So don't put your brain in their body and say, why are you doing something still so stupid? You have a different brain. You are learning how to do this the right way. You are learning how to be a professional landlord. You are learning how to avoid all these wills and trusts and all these things so that your kids don't have to worry about this stuff in the future. Guys, if family members actually did their estate planning correctly, guess what we would not need whatsoever? Probate attorneys and probate courts in the state. Okay? So why is it that in the world of 2025, Phoenix, Arizona has like 4,000 probate files filed every single month? because nobody does anything that we are learning in here today. Okay? Nobody does it right. Nobody does it right. Colleen says bullcrap. Not sure what that means, but check it out.
Just real quick, the reason why you do the seller finance is because you're getting a monthly payment, correct?
Hold on. Okay, check it out. Oh, it's difficult to pinpoint the exact number of probate files in the United States. However, on Ancestry.com states that records have been spanning over 300 years, including over 170 million documents. Okay, so that's crazy. 170 million people have filed probate, which means you only file probate when you do a poor job on your estate planning. Crazy. Do you think this contractor, you guys think CPAs do estate planning? They don't. CPAs file your taxes. It's not even remotely the same thing. Okay. So you guys need to understand the company I use for all my LLCs, all that stuff. The name of the company is startwithprime.com. Go book a call with them. They're great. They do my estate plans. They do my LLCs. They do all that stuff. Startwithprime.com. So to answer your question, I want to finalize this. You got a great question. Okay. So the seller only gets taxed, Shelly, on money they receive. So if the seller takes a big 30% down payment on the front end of this deal, guess what they're getting hit with? They're getting hit with a big capital gains tax on that 30% down payment. So that's how easy it is for me to tell the seller, look, seller, you want to retire. You don't need 30% down. That's crazy. What are you going to do with the 30% down? You're 75 years old. What are you going to do with $6 million? Why don't I give you no money down and you'll pay no taxes? And what I'll do is I'll pay you a monthly fee and give you 4% interest. And over 10 years, I can get rid of your capital gains tax. And those 10 years, you'll also make more money on the interest than you'll ever pay the tax man. You'll receive all $20 million rather than only receiving 13, 14, or $15 million. The other thing, a lot of times the seller, so guys, how do you determine the interest? Jose Santiago, your brain is already getting way ahead of this. The first thing you need to understand is, why would a seller do this in the first place? Are we beginning to understand why a seller would do this in the first place?
Yes.
In fact, once you start understanding creative finance, you start wondering, why would a seller not do this? It makes no sense to me whatsoever for a seller who's retiring to cash out their money. Why? What are they going to do with the money?
They're going to get taxed on it first of all.
Okay,
right?
They're going to get taxed on it, but let's say that they get $14 million. Okay, what are they going to do with $14 million after they pay the taxes? What are they going to do? Somebody that's 75 years old, what the F are they going to do with $14 million?
A lot of money.
What are they going to do? Guess what? Here's what they got to do.
Invest.
They have to go find a wealth advisor that's not going to rob them blind with fees and management and all sorts of things. And now they're gambling on other things. All investing is gambling. Guess what they get when they seller finance it to me, Shelly? They have the security of a building that they've understood for 35 years. Are they gambling at that point? What if I die and then I can't make the payment because I'm not managing? Don't you think the guy who owned it for 35 years can step back in and go, well, I guess this guy died or he got abducted by an alien. He can just take the property back on a property he understands. Guess what you can't do? When you sell a property, you pay capital gains tax. Now the IRS has taken $5 million of your money right out of the gate. Guess what you have left over? $15 million. So you go put $15 million in the stock market. What is the stock market other than gambling on another man's decisions?
Makes sense. You don't want to do that. You don't want to lose your money, maybe even a lot faster.
How many people are super pumped up about their 401k and its performance over the last 10 years? Nobody. So that's their alternative. Like, think about the alternative of the seller. You guys, here's the farce that I had in my brain. Shelly, I thought these people, because they had more than me, they'd accomplished more than me. When I was a young 30-year-old, I'm like, why would a seller do anything like that? But once I started meeting these sellers, I'm like, oh, you're a contractor just like me. Your CPA told you to buy this property. You never went to a seminar. You never read a book. You just did what your CPA told you. You thought they had the best interest, and now you own a property free and clear. And now you're like, I want to sell, but my kids are on drugs. My kids are off doing whatever they're doing. They're basically part of the trust fund, and they just get a payment every single month. They don't want the property. I need to now sell the property for a very high price. So how many of you guys have negotiated with sellers that want way too much money up front and way too much money for their property? Say me. Okay, there you go. The reason why is because the seller is anticipating getting hit in the face by Uncle Sam. So people go, these sellers are out of their gosh dang minds. I'm like, no, they're the greatest lead on earth, because everybody else that's looking at it that way doesn't understand that that seller is anticipating my only option is to cash out and gamble on the stock market, or gamble in like T-bills or treasury bills or something low risk, right? That's my only option. Then I come along and I go, hey seller, so going back to that property, $20 million. Seller sold it he put it on the market for $20 million. Couldn't sell it. Lowered it all the way to like 19.3, still couldn't sell it. We come along and go, hey seller, we'll give you the $20 million, but we want low or no money down, and we want low or no interest. And we went back and forth for a couple of months, and we worked out almost nothing down and 4% interest for 10 years. And so the seller's getting interest on his $20 million, but guess what the seller's getting? $20 million. And guess what else he gets? Security of a property he already understands. There's no greater investment for that man to make than in me. No greater investment. He can't go to Vanguard. He can't go to BlackRock. He can't go anywhere else and get a better investment than me. Why? Because he's not betting on me. He's betting on the asset he's known for 35 freaking years. Does that make sense?
100%.
So now you start going, why would any seller sell for cash? Because you are so damn afraid, not you, Shelly, but just in general, you are so damn afraid of calling the seller and explaining seller finance to them the same way I just explained it. And so these sellers aren't educated. And here's another reason why, because you're afraid of brokers and agents. They don't know anything, guys. Brokers and agents are the cashiers of the grocery store of real estate. They are very not important. Real estate investors run this world. We do not care about agents. We do not care about brokers. I don't mean it that way. We like doing business with the ones that know what they're doing, but I don't need them. Seller finance. So check this out. If you guys are going to a grocery store nowadays, let's say we're at Target. I think like 5 or 6 years ago when I had to go through the self-checkout, I kind of got annoyed by it. I was like, oh, you want me to do the work? But then I didn't have to talk to another human being. I got in and out really fast. I was like, bing, 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 got it done. I went out. How many people prefer to go through the cashier today? Still to this day. I prefer self-checkout. I'm now getting used to just ordering stuff online. Welcome to the difference between going directly to the seller, that's like direct self-checkout, and going through the cashier who's going to bother you and be like, okay, and it's going to be slow and you got to have all the pleasantries. It's like, dude, let's just get to the point. What are we doing here? Okay. So I go directly to the seller. I prefer to go direct to the seller. Okay. I do go direct through agents, but they're going to make things harder, take longer, and they're going to cost me more time, energy, and effort. I'd rather just go directly to the seller. So during the Elephant Challenge, I'll show you how to do both. Okay. Charles Harris, my friend. Charles Harris says, where do I find these sellers? Guys, have I not shown you Crexy.com? Like Charles Harris, did we lose that part, miss that part? It's so simple. Okay. Abraham says, you haven't, I just got here. Welcome to my life, right? Like repeat yourself, slave. Okay, so Shelly, now you understand the demographic of these humans, why seller finance benefits them. I could convince you so strongly that seller finance is the only way that you would be confused why anybody would ever take a cash offer. I'll tell you why. There's 3 reasons why people won't take seller finance. Only 3 reasons. You want me to tell you what they are?
They don't understand it.
Number 1, they don't understand it because you suck at explaining it. That's it. People come to me and go, they don't want to do it. No. You know how many times I've talked to sellers that people go, they don't want to do the deal. And I turn around and pivot it and I turn it around. And the seller's like, why didn't your friend tell me that? I'm like, because they don't know what they're doing, right? I do that all the time for my SubTo community members. They start out not doing great. The seller says no, or the agent, like look on my YouTube channel. A couple of weeks ago, we called an agent on I'll show you guys. I'll show you how fast this is. Watch this, okay? Let's see if I can find it. I think I should be able to find it. My friends are all on Wholesale Hotline Live right now, and I'm hanging out with you guys. Okay, so let's go to my channel just real quick. Let's go to the lives I did. I did a couple of lives a couple of weeks ago. They were, okay, no one left behind day 1. Okay, here we go. Okay, so if you guys go watch this, okay, this is a couple of weeks ago. Okay, this is where people come into my office. It's called No One Left Behind Challenge, and they come into my office and I do deals with people like in person. So I had a student that had a call with an agent. The agent says, no, we're not interested in SubTo. And then I called from a different number 4 minutes later and I got the house under contract.
Wow.
Okay. And it's recorded. You guys can go watch. You can watch the first call. They say, no, we're not interested. And then I go, give me the phone number right now. I will literally call that agent. Her name's Skylar. I will call that agent right now and I will get this deal under contract. It's not that I'm a closer. It's that I understand the demographic. I understand how it benefits them. I'm not convincing anybody of anything. I'm not closing anybody. I'm giving them a better option and I'm explaining it in an easier way for them to understand. That's it. Okay. So the reason why, the number one reason why people will not sell to you on seller finance or SubTo is because they don't understand the benefits and you suck at explaining them. That's number one. So even me, that's like 90% of the reason why somebody says no. Even when I'm having a hard time, it's like, what am I not explaining to them? What story do I need to tie in? If it's a school teacher, I'll use a crayon analogy. If it's a bus driver, I'll talk about Bluebird, the manufacturer. If it's, a guy that works in an auto parts store, I'll talk about Ford trucks. I will use something that they understand and I will tie in an analogy. I will never use a spreadsheet. I'll rarely talk about seller finance or SubTo, very rarely. So that's number one. Number two is they need the money right now. Like I've had multiple sellers go, no, I just want the money. Cool. What are you going to use it for? Well, why are you asking me? Well, actually, I really admire you. You've owned this RV park for 17 years. I'm trying to step into your footsteps. And if I buy your park, awesome. But if I don't, I'd love to understand, what does it look like after owning an RV park for 17 years? I'm curious, just from you mentoring me and me being your mentee, where are you planning on putting your money? Because I want to follow in your footsteps. I really look up to you. You see how I turned that question into like mentor me? Guys, like there's nothing you can't turn around and pivot. Okay. The problem is you're like, oh my gosh, they told me that they need the money right now. Amazing. What are you investing in? Why do you need to know? First off, if they ask me that question, that means I didn't build a rapport up front, right? But if they do ask me that question and they say, well, why are you asking me that? I go, because I look up to you. Simple. You've been doing this for 15 years. I'm trying to be you. And when I get to your stage, I want to know, like, nobody's teaching me this stuff. I'm learning as I go. So like, I'd love to know, where's your mind at? And even if we don't work a deal, I'd love to get some clarity on what my future would look like if I did follow in your footsteps. Holy crap. So I'd say most of the people that say that they need the money right now are not telling you the truth, because they actually don't know what they're going to use the money for. They have no clue. You guys give these people way too much respect. They have no clue what they're going to do with their money. They just hate the property. They hate the management. They never set up the right systems and processes. They're not. Okay, you want to hear the craziest thing, Shelly?
Sure.
When we took over that property, remember I told you the Circle K, right?
Yes.
I took over that property. Guess what that guy had been making his tenants do for 35 years?
Go and get them coffee.
No. He told them, you cannot pay me with anything other than a money order. So Circle K was making a killing. They were selling $7 money orders to 160 tenants for 35 years.
Oh.
He would not accept personal checks. He would not receive ACH. He did not have an online portal to receive money. One of the first things we did is we put a website together and told all the tenants, you can pay online now. This was 2024, guys. You think these guys have all got it figured out. You think they're all holy. Oh my gosh, they're so smart. And so did I. Was anybody on my No One Left Behind training I did last Wednesday where I called the agent live that was her husband died in March and then her seller? How many people were on that call? You guys watch me call an RV park out of the middle of nowhere. It's 7:30 at night. And this agent is like, yeah, the sellers are dying and my husband just died and I need money. Please help me get this deal done. And everybody's like, this is a staged call. I'm like, no, this is what happens when you know how to find the people you're looking for. Okay. And so as we do this elephant challenge for the next couple of days, what I want to teach you guys, I want to teach you how to find the demographic of the people that you're looking for. You don't want to waste your time on people that don't have pain. And that's the third reason why people won't sell to you on seller finance is they literally have no pain. They are good to go. So why would I even talk to them? If I have software that will filter those people out, why would I ever even call them and talk to them? I watch people and people come to me in my DMs and they say stuff like, oh my gosh, I have this situation and the seller doesn't want to sell to me at a discount. I'm like, okay, where did you get the lead? Oh, I found it on Zillow. Okay, first off, if you're looking on Zillow, you're a tool. Sorry, write that down. If you guys are wasting your time on Zillow, you're a tool. You're a tool. And so was I. I spent so much time wasting my time on Zillow when I first tried to get into the business. Zillow is a manipulation tool to rake in money from agents. Okay. Fernando says, I'm a tool. Perfect. Why was I a tool when I was on Zillow? Because I was lying to myself. I'm scrolling through and I'm looking at properties. It's basically house porn. And I'm looking at all these houses I'm falling in love with and I did nothing about it. But it made me feel good. But I never called anybody, do anything about it. And then the reality is when I finally mustered up any energy to call them, they had already sold the house. Why was it still on the Zillow? Because Zillow's not about quality data. They're about getting agents leads. How does Zillow make money when you don't pay Zillow any money? How does Zillow make money? Zillow makes money by having agents pay for you guys. When you guys are all there looking for houses and stuff, agents are paying Zillow a ton of money. And so Zillow has benefited from keeping all the houses as much as they possibly can. Even 30 days after they've already sold, they're benefited to keep every house they possibly can on that site so that you get suckered into calling an agent and getting that agent a lead. Welcome to Zillow. It's a waste of your time. Absolute waste of your time. Adrian Ortiz says Jerry Norton says otherwise. Great. I don't know that Jerry Norton uses Zillow either. He's my best friend. I've never seen Jerry Norton use Zillow one time. Now, here's the difference, okay? I'm talking to somebody that's broke. They have nothing, zero zilch. I still wouldn't tell them to use Zillow. I wouldn't tell them to use Zillow. If you need a free resource, go to Facebook Marketplace. I don't know why you'd waste any of your time. Yeah, there you go. Jonathan Caesar says, I experienced that. Found a deal on Zillow, went to see it, and it was gone. I don't know why you'd go on Zillow, other than it's fun to be on. Cool. If you're just going on Zillow to have fun and like look at stuff, I do that too. I love it. But I'm not using Zillow to do deals. What would you tell those people with nothing? Marketplace, really? I'll tell you that tomorrow. Redfin, waste of time too. I would not go on Redfin either. Guys, if the site is not set up for you as an investor to make money, it's set up for an agent to get leads, why would I waste my time? It's a free trap. It's for, remember that fly trap I talked to you guys about a little bit earlier, right? Because it's available, it's a trap.
Yes.
And you don't have to do any work. And guess what? Guess what's happened? Has anybody here gotten any benefit from Zillow besides just getting your dopamine levels fixed? So you guys are all just telling me exactly what I'm saying. Okay. It's a fly trap. They've created a fly trap to keep you guys coming back so that so agents will pay them. They don't make money. Zillow doesn't make money from you. Zillow makes money from agents. So they want to trap you flies so that they can feed those flies to the agents. Deal Machine is I don't know Deal Machine. Is that, they're still around? Deal Machine's still around? Yeah, Crexy is great. I like Crexy. I pay for Crexy though. I pay the $2,900 fee. Crexy is great. LoopNet is great, but I spend money on those. There's like $2,000 a year. The software that I'm working on right now is a software that we're gonna hopefully learn today. Okay, cool. Is Crexy for commercial real estate only? Well, yes and no. You'll find some businesses on there, but yeah, it's primarily for commercial. Today, I'm actually going to learn some software for the first time. Okay, so check it out. Crexy's cool. I like LoopNet. I think Crexy is a lot better than LoopNet. I just like the way it works. Okay. Batch leads, super outdated. We've asked batch leads to update things 100 times. They don't. Okay. CoStar is super expensive. That's 20 grand a year. It's always an Indian dude that loves CoStar. I love that. My engineer friends, all my engineer friends love them some CoStar. It's 20 grand a year. Where are my Indian friends that are like CoStar is the jam? Okay. I think Privy's actually going out of business, guys. Just FYI. I'm friends with everybody at Privy. We stopped kind of promoting and talking about them. I think they're going out of business. Yeah. Shashwat Kumar says, Indian friends. Yeah, I got a lot of Indian friends. My best friend's Indian. My right-hand girl is Indian. Half my students are Indians. They're freaking amazing. They're amazing people. But it's interesting. Indian people are very engineered, like structured minded. And so like they love CoStar. I already know like when somebody says CoStar, I'm like, you might be Indian. It's an interesting thing. Pace, I'm your dumbest mentee. Dude, I'm dumb too. I learned everything all day. Every day I learned something new. Okay, so Shelly, any questions you have that I have not answered about that multifamily side yet?
Just one.
Okay.
So I know I should go for Class B,
Yep.
not Class A, not Class C. And
I think Class C is okay. Just understand that Class C is going to need a lot more care. A is astronomical. B is better. C is a lot of care. You're going to have to put a lot of care. The tenants are nightmares. A lot of police are getting called on Class C. I would never touch a Class D property just because of the crime and whatever else. Class B is where most of the money's made.
okay, well, then that makes sense. So my question to you, 8, the multi-family place, it happens to be on the beach. And
Is this a lead that you have?
yes,
Okay.
and it got flooded.
Okay, so let's do something really quick. I actually have a guest coming on here today in a couple of minutes. Let's bring her up here. All right, everybody. This is Jenna Hoover, my friend. Hold on a second. I don't know why my camera's being all funky, but my camera decided to be stupid. Hold on. All right. So this is my friend Jenna Hoover. She's hanging out with me for the day. We'll be here for about an hour today. She's going to teach me how to use some new software that's been coming out called DealSauce. Jenna, what up? How you doing?
Good. How about you?
I'm really good. So Jenna, I want to teach Shelly something really quick before you and I jump into the software, okay? Guys, Jenna's done a ton of deals. She still does a lot of deals. You guys don't know this, but she's part Amish, maybe 5% Amish.
Just because I live where there's horses and buggies still. Like that's the technology level where we're at.
Dude,
So,
I drove through there. Their buggies are actually kind of legit. Like they look like limousines.
They are.
They're nice. Okay, so Jenna's going to be with us for the next hour. She'll be with us tomorrow as well. But I want to answer Shelly's question. So Shelly, your 8plex that you have on the ocean, is this a suspect, a prospect, a lead, a contract, or a deal? And let me explain those to you, because people will say to me like, oh, I have a deal. And I go, cool. So send it over. I'll buy it. But I don't have it under contract yet. Okay, then it's not a deal. A deal is something that's already under contract that's at a good price. A deal is something I can buy. Walmart would not say, hey guys, come over here. We have a deal if it wasn't something I could buy. That would be crazy, right? So we don't use the word deal. Guys, can I all get a yes in the side chat? We don't use the word deal when it's not something that's priced appropriately and something I can buy right now. Get that word out of your mouth. So when somebody says to you, hey, Jenna, I have a deal. Sadly, Jenna and I have had to learn over the last 15 years of being in the game that if a new person is DMing me, I have a deal, we have to go, damn, is this really a deal? Or is it somebody they pulled off Zillow that they've never called before?
It's a lead. I actually
A lead means you've spoken to them and they said they're open to an offer is what a lead is.
No, I spoke to someone who knows a lot of the properties on the island.
Okay, so we've got a suspect. Okay, so this is what we call a suspect. We suspect they might want to sell, but we haven't done prospecting ourselves, meaning calling them. We prospect and we say, hey, my name is Shelly. I'm looking at potentially buying your property. I'd like to make an offer. Are you open to an offer? When they say, yeah, we actually are open to an offer. Okay, great. I'm an investor. Are you guys open to a lower offer than what retail could get you? If they're like, no, we're going to list through an agent, then that's nor a lead, nor a prospect, nor a suspect. That is just nothing, right? So I think you're kind of in suspect stage. You're at suspect, which means I suspect they might want an offer. I have not spoken to them directly, which means you have not done the prospecting, and they definitely have not become a lead yet that say, I want continued conversation with you regarding a negotiation regarding our property. Does that make sense?
You're absolutely correct. And the person who I am going to see the property with knows everybody on the island, basically, and he's helping the people there and this and that. The original owners are in Europe.
Okay,
and
cool.
He's leaving to go to Germany himself on Thursday. So I'm going tomorrow to meet with him, and I'm going to get all the information from him on, with the owners, so I can speak directly with them.
Okay, cool. So George, just in the side chat, let's be clear on this one more time, because Shelly's got a suspect. She doesn't even have a prospect, and she definitely doesn't have a lead quite yet. But George says, I have a lead. Would you call the agent for me? If it was a lead, you probably have already called the agent. Not probably. You would have had to have already called the agent, and that agent says, yes, George, we are open to a lower than retail offer. That has now become a lead. Okay, so George, have you prospected? That prospecting means, okay, so I suspect the house might want to be for sale. I saw them on a foreclosure list. I saw their house is ugly. I saw that the house was burned down. Somebody told me X, Y, and Z. I know the cousin of Ralphie Cakes who bought the property, and he might be in a bad situation. His contractor told me. That's a suspect, right? We all on the same page? Give me a yes in the comments, please. Give me a yes. We all understand that? Cool. A prospect means I've actually called somebody and I've found out facts, and I am trying to get information to see if it's actually something I want to follow up with. A lead is when after I've called them and they say, yes, we know it needs a lower than a retail offer, or yes, we are open. We want retail price, but we're open to CreativeFinance. Please give us an offer. That has now become a lead. So George, are you at a point where they're ready for an offer? If so, that is a lead. If not, that is a prospect. What do you have, George? A prospect or a lead? He's sitting there going, dang it, I don't know. Vanessa says, things are finally starting to click. Do you guys like how slow I've gone today?
Yes.
Okay.
Beneficial.
See why we call this the elephant challenge? We move super slow. We've learned like very basic things. Well before we open a stupid spreadsheet and well before we open up anything, we got to understand we're not looking for people. And let's just throw the word lead out the window. You do not have a lead. You have a prospect. That's not to you, Shelly. That's to George. Okay. So Shelly,
Yes.
you have somebody that told you that these people might be open to selling. Are you in direct communication with the agent or somebody in the seller's ownership group? Or is it you're even one step removed from that?
He's not an agent. He just lives on the same island and he's helping people.
Okay. Okay. So Shelly, if I was your mentor in this situation, I would tell you to avoid this prospect at all costs.
Tell me why.
Because in 4 seconds, I can find 85 people on the same island that are in foreclosure. Why would I even waste my time with 3 steps removed from the person?
Okay.
Like that's the problem that I think a lot of people are running into is that they're chasing wild hares. Like number one, you're going on Zillow. Stop it. Zillow's cool for date night. Hey, sweetheart, what's a cool, beautiful property that one day we can move into? I love doing that. My wife and I are sitting at dinner and we're looking through Zillow. We were driving the other day for an hour and we were looking at like ranches in Northern California and, 20 million, 30 million, manifesting. Zillow's cool for manifesting. It's not good for making money. Why? Because it doesn't have a filter. I could go click, 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 boom. I can find foreclosures, probates. I can find anything I want. That is what you're missing. And so what happens is people that are new, you have something right now, Shelly, I call one-itis. Okay. You have one opportunity. And because it's the one opportunity you have, and you don't know how to go and find 100 opportunities in 14 seconds, you think that that's worthy of your time, and that becomes this disease. I've had it 1,000 times, by the way. I guarantee Jenna's had it. She looks like she's perfect, but she's not. I know she's made mistakes like I have. And I have wasted so much of my life on one-itis, meaning this thing's going to work out. Meanwhile, I've never even talked to the seller. I'm talking to somebody who knows the seller. That is a waste of time. In the same amount of time we've had the conversation, and Jenna's going to show us probably tomorrow how to just click on 3 buttons and you got a bunch of leads. I would much rather you spend your time doing that than wasting your time not even knowing why that would even be a good deal. So Shelly, let me ask you this question. What is that seller's pain point and why are they currently selling? And why would they give you a good cash price deal, or B, why would they give you seller finance?
I don't know the answers to that at all.
Okay, so
Not yet, because I haven't spoken with the actual seller.
Perfect. So I love this. Awesome, Shelly. So by the way, guys, can we all say thank you to Shelly? She's been an awesome freaking sport today, like helping us. I'm teaching through Shelly today. Can we all give Shelly some love in the side chat, please? Okay, so
Awesome.
Shelly, thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Pace.
Of course. By the way, I come from a family of 12. And so I use sarcasm and dry humor. And so some people think I'm very terse, but I'm actually just a really happy dude that I use like dry humor to get my point across. So if you ever feel like I'm beating anybody up today, it's just a way of me being funny and teasing my fellow brothers and sisters is all I do. Okay.
I think you're fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So,
and I appreciate you.
If I have 15 minutes today and that's all I have to like find opportunities for me to buy, is it better for me to chase down a seller that I don't know if they're in pain or if they're trying to sell anything? Or would it be better for me to just go to a website and find people that are already selling and they're already offering owner finance?
Crexy.
Cool. So Crexy would be a good choice. I love Crexy. The software that we're going to learn over the next couple of days, the name of it is called DealSauce. My team uses it. I am behind the 8 ball on it. And so meaning like I have not learned it as much as I need to. What DealSauce does that I'm excited about is things that Crexy doesn't do. Any of the other software you guys have named. PropWire doesn't do it. I love PropWire. My friend Jerry owns it. Zillow definitely doesn't do it. PropStream doesn't do it. Batch Leads, I didn't know they're still in business. They don't do it. Privy doesn't do it. I think they're going out of business. Truly, I'm friends with them and I think they're going out of business. So they don't do those things. The things that I want is I want to find who are the people that are fixing and flipping. I want to know like all the borrowers that I might be able to lend money to. That's for Gator deals. I also want to be able to find private money lenders. Well, that's not something I've ever been able to find on any other software besides DealSauce. Like Carol Houtman says, please talk about the features within DealSauce. I just did. Does anybody wish they could just find private money lenders on DealSauce? Well, guess what? DealSauce does that. So I want to learn that. And more importantly, I brought somebody that is a great educator. What time is it where you're at, Jenna, by the way?
It is 9:13 p.m.
Okay. Dude, I feel so bad for you hanging out with me this late. Thank you for showing up. I am so freaking grateful.
You don't know. Anytime I get to hang out with you is an opportunity, is an awesome time. So I've been looking forward to this for like 2 weeks now.
Thank you. Thank you.
And don't worry, I've already snapped pictures of us on here so I can brag to everybody I'm hanging out with you. So the pleasure is mine.
You're one of my favorite people, so thank you so much. Cool. I want to learn how to use DealSauce, and I want to use DealSauce in its most basic functions today, tomorrow, and maybe get into some more elevated stuff on the third day. So I think today, what I'd like to do, Jenna, how comfortable are you showing DealSauce and like going through it today?
I'm super comfortable.
Okay. All right. Let's do something fun. I'm going to give you co-host. I think you already have co-host, but I'm going to give you co-host, make co-host, and I'm going to give you the ability to share your screen. Do you think you have the capability of opening up DealSauce and finding active foreclosures in Maricopa County in less than 20 seconds?
Yeah, as long as they're there.
Okay, let's try. So this is what I'm talking about, Shelly. Jenna, I'll let you pull open your screen, share your screen, and as I talk, I'll let you click on a couple of things. But this is what I want to show you, Shelly. Like, why would I waste any time on a wild goose hunt? By the way, I've done this 1,000 times, Shelly, meaning I've chased things down that I should not have chased. And how many like new people have chased leads that turned out to be just wild goose hunts? Give me a yes in the side chat. Okay. I'm trying to get you to avoid all of that. Okay. Okay. So what are you doing, Jenna?
Yeah. So I'm coming in here. So you basically said, so I'll start you over again. So this is our platform, guys. This is our DealSauce software. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to select our geographic location. So you can go as big as a whole state. You can search by county. You can search by city or zip code, or you can just even be as micro as just one physical address, just so we can see the data on one property. So over the next couple of days, I'm going to show you guys how we can really just be a detective, but also leveraging this to this fullest capability. So what I did is I went into the Maricopa.
Maricopa County is where I live, guys. It's where I primarily buy my single family properties. I don't buy single family properties anywhere but Maricopa County now. And I'm selling all of my single family everywhere but Maricopa just to consolidate. And I'm focusing on larger assets now across the country. But Maricopa County is where I live.
So I'm picking your area. Okay. And then I'm just going to go into my filter section. And then I have a section here, the foreclosure info. And I'm looking, I either have my pre-foreclosures or foreclosures. So properties that are actually set to go to auction. And I'm just going to look at the pre-foreclosures. So these are going to be people in this geographic area that have received some sort of a notice of default from the bank. And it's going to be based on your area. Like if you're in a particular area that has a shorter, pre-foreclosure, foreclosure time frame, then that's good to know. But I just picked the last 6 months. So anybody in this area that's received some sort of a notice of default from the bank within the last 6 months. So we went from over 1 million properties down to 1,000. And so these are all people that are in your geographic area that have received some sort of a notice of default. And then, I mean, we can go deep. Like we can see like some of them are just like this person, their loan to value is 58%. Like we can click on this person. Of course, like we're integrated with Google Maps. So we can click on this, like over the next couple of days, we'll dive in. We'll show you how you can pull comps in the area. We can search it online. Like we'll talk about these AI scores. Like these scores are so hot. I almost like want to like pause this and have you reach out to this person because these scores, like 1,000 is the highest the score could be. And this person, it has a lot of things going on in their life. But when we look at, again, we'll break down all this stats, but I'm just going to drive you right here to this financial info because our system, we have our AVM, which is like our automated valuation model. It's like the value as is that our system places on the property. We can see right here that the value of this property as is, like this is not to be confused with the after repair value. This is just kind of like, and I hate to compare it to a Zillow's estimate, especially after the way you were talking about Zillow earlier. We have an outside source that we're pulling this data, but somewhere around 6K is what we value this property. We can see right here that they owe somewhere around $345,000 on this property, which would be such a shame if they're going to lose this property when they have such a good loan to value ratio. And then like just pulling in all the stuff Pace that you do, like we can come down here and even see it further. Like here's how much they owe. Here's what their payment is. Here's their interest rate.
Oh my gosh.
We can literally see what
Shelly,
we were taking over.
You're hanging with us right now, right?
I am. I'm watching.
Do you see how everything else other than just identifying exactly what you want is just a waste of time?
Yes, I do.
So like that 8plex. No, by the way, I'm not talking to you, Shelly. I'm talking to Pace Morby 12 years ago. 10 years ago, even 8 years ago, I was like chasing wild rabbits everywhere. And somebody would be like, I know a seller who's open to selling. And I'd spend 3 months wasting my time. Meanwhile, you can just go on here and it tells you literally every little thing. So Jenna, by the way, pause for a second, because I had some really good questions in the side chat. I had to pause it because these questions are so good. Is DealSauce just foreclosures? No, DealSauce is everything. Hey, got it. Private money lenders, got it. You want high equity, low equity, SubTo, seller finance, commercial, you want anything, Sauce has got it. The link to it is saucemydeals.com. It's in the side chat. I do not have an affiliate link, but my face is on the thing. Okay, is she in the software? Yes, she is. How often is it regular? Kristen Davis, it's really funny, and I used to ask this question all the time too. It's funny that a lot of people will be on Zillow, which is updated like never, and then go get high quality data and be like, how often is it updated? Every day, every hour, every minute. It's the liveliest, freshest sushi you can buy. It's shipped directly from Japan, straight off the jet, right to your table. It's the freshest sushi you can buy. DealSauce is way more than foreclosures. I just said foreclosures. Why? Why did I say foreclosures? Why did I tell Jenna to go after foreclosure? Because I wanted to tell Shelly, I was taking Shelly's really great question and I was identifying, you know what's the opposite of what Shelly's question is? Shelly's like, hey, I've got this seller. I don't know why they would sell, but I heard there might be selling. To here's the opposite. This person's going to get kicked out of their house by the sheriff in 32 and a half days. Do you see how polar opposite those situations are, Shelly?
I do.
So the best lead you could ever go after in terms of time frame, meaning I know you have to sell. You could lie to me all day long, but I know you have to sell. The best lead you could go after is foreclosure. So of course I went after foreclosures right out of the gate just to show you, Shelly, and everybody else. In 20 seconds, you can see 1,000 foreclosures in Maricopa County. Their interest rates, how much they owe, what their payment is, what we think the value is. Literally, it does the comping for you. So this is what I wanted to learn. I'm like, all my team is using it. We're buying deals from it. I'm like, why am I not using the software and why don't I know how to use it? So I wanted to get trained on how to do this too. Okay. I just heard Maricopa is the hot place to buy presently. Everywhere in the country besides North and South Dakota is a hot place to buy. In fact, Fargo's still a dope place to buy. Is she in the software? Not right now. Okay, how often is this list updated? Every minute. When you blink, it's updated. Okay, I heard they were actually going to name this software Blinkety Blink because every time you blink, it updates. Okay, so let's see. What other questions do we have? Central Florida for the win. Oregon, yes. Oregon's dope. I love Seattle. It's great. If DealSauce was an actual sauce, what sauce would it be? It would be, what's your favorite sauce, Jenna? Don't say ketchup.
I would say something spicy. I don't know. Like what we say, like, was it sriracha? How do you say that?
That's the whitest girl thing I've ever heard anybody say.
No, like something spicy, something like that. But like the question about how often is it updated? Some of our data is updated every 5 minutes. So like in real time, that often. And I mean, it's so powerful. And we'll talk more about like the sellability scores where we score all the properties. We're going to rank them. Like we're going to find like seriously, sometimes I feel like it's an unfair advantage when we have the software. Like I feel like I'm playing with poker with somebody while I'm sitting on their lap looking at their poker hand. Like that's how sometimes I feel unfair it is, just with the data that we can pull and how behind the scenes that we can see on things and just the ways that we can really make these high level, I like to call them recipes, which is so perfect. Like whenever, you titled your software, DealSauce, because I love the whole recipe vibe, because we will build out some like really high level lists that are just it's so spectacular for finding those motivated sellers.
Okay. So we will go through a whole bunch of stuff this week, guys. We've got a couple of days with Jenna. But Shelly, was this helpful to just be like, pull up foreclosures in 10 seconds?
What a huge difference it'll make.
Right. And so like, there's a bunch of questions in the side chat too of like, hey, what other list should I go after? Tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll go through like if I'm brand new, I shouldn't waste my time on these lists. If I'm brand new, I should focus on these lists. And then we'll go and pull them tomorrow and we'll give everybody homework. Okay. And we'll give everybody homework that they can kind of pair up with other people and do it together. Does that sound good? Everybody will actually do like homework and we'll do this thing together. Everybody walks away going, oh my gosh, I totally understand how to pull a list and like go get the thing done. And then what we'll do is on day 3, I'll show you guys how to make a call and like what the script looks like and how to make an offer. It'll be super simple. Jenna, okay, so let's go through a couple of questions before you show me how to do this.
Okay.
I'm going to get a login tonight. I don't know what my login is for DealSauce. I know my team has one, but I'm going to get my login so that you and I can go back and forth tomorrow. I want to be really, really good at pulling a foreclosure list in Maricopa County. So maybe that's what we do tonight. We go through the foreclosure thing one more time, and I ask you questions as if I'm a stupid user, because I am. Okay. Is this better than Batch Leads? Yes. I don't even know that Batch Leads is still in business. And those are my friends. I love those guys. They're freaking awesome. Colin Seaton says there's not even a comparison. He obviously uses it. Is this just for the US? I'm in UA. Would you suggest to make calls and do it in the okay. So Tarishi, love that question. Tarishi. I'm going to answer this question for everybody on here. Tarishi, I think is how you say your name. Tarishi? Tarishai?
That's correct.
How do I say it? Tell me.
It's Tarishi.
Tarishi. Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right. So here's what I would tell you. I know nothing about the UK other than you guys have fish and chips and apparently really cold weather. I don't know that I would ever, people ask me all the time, would you ever invest across the ocean in other countries? And the answer is absolutely hell no. There's no possible way. I would never. Why? I feel as if, and I don't know this for sure, but this is just my experience with, I have students in 29 countries, the UK being one of them. Everybody virtually does deals into America. Why? Our laws are way better. Our lending practices are way more conducive. We are all more pro-business than your country ever will be. That is Canada, that's Mexico, that's South America, that's everywhere. Every student I have that's in the other 29 countries is like, America is so much easier to do business in. So if I were you, I don't know that I would want to go do deals in UK if you're learning from me. Now, there are some good UK YouTubers. I know nothing about them. I'm not friends with them other than I watch some of their YouTube content. I'm like, that's pretty good. But they're talking about things I have no idea. They have different rules and different regulations. I don't know anything about the UK. I will not be able to help you with UK. I will be able to help you understand how to do this business from anywhere in the world, in the United States, if you choose to go that route. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's so amazing. You made me being awake at 2:27 a.m. because this was the question I had, and I tried to talk to some people in your team.
Yeah.
And I was so curious to join your tribe, your community, and I always had this question. It was never answered. And I was like, how can I get you answer this? And now I have clarity. That's really amazing.
And I didn't even have to have an accent to explain it to you. So yeah, here's the thing. We have a lot of Canadians. I'd say out of all the 29 countries that we have people in, Canada is number 1, Mexico is number 2, India is number 3, Europe is number 4 in general. I know Europe is an amalgamation of amazing countries all brought together. But that's number 4. And then we've got a lot of people in South Africa as well. So every one of them is doing deals across internet in America. Why? We have amazing laws here. Like everything here is pro-business. Everything here is how can you avoid paying taxes? How can you own the property? Like what's interesting about Mexico too, Tarishi, is that in Mexico, even if you're a property, like, okay, if I'm an American buying land in Mexico, I cannot own real estate in Mexico. I have to be on a 100-year land lease, which means in 100 years, I lose the property that I purchased. So it's just weird in other countries. And so for me, it's like, I just want to own the property and not have anybody steal it from me. I don't want a government to come in and take it from me. And I've been watching what's going on in the UK. Maybe I'm ill-informed, and I'm sorry for saying this if I am, but I see that your country is incredibly oppressive right now the last couple of years, like freedom of speech, freedom of building business. It seems very oppressive over there. Am I saying something out of context?
You're right.
Yeah, it's really bad. I see people going to prison for just posting things on social media, like freedom of speech. And so what does that mean? You can't say what you want. I get that. I understand like nobody should bully anybody else. I totally get that. But I want to be in a country that I really, truly am free. I can invest how I want. I can make money how I want. I can be creative. And I'm not going to go to prison if I step out of line, right? So the United States, in my opinion, in my experience with all the 29 countries worth of students I have, if all of them are investing in the United States. Now, what's interesting is I do have students that are, like I have a student in Israel. She buys all of her properties in Atlanta, Georgia, and she did that for 2 years. And then she started going, I can do this in Israel. It just takes a little bit more work. And so she started doing things in Israel. I have another student in Portugal. She was buying deals in South Florida. Same thing. She turned around and started doing deals in Portugal. My first student that did a creative finance deal in Portugal was actually April Elias of Massachusetts, of all places. And she vacations in Portugal. And she took everything I learned and went to Portugal and figured it out. Our data Tarishi, is so good. Like, we'll go through the data. I don't know that your country will be so free on the data that we as a country share and make available. Jenna's going to show you. Let's find out everybody that's losing their house, what their payment is, what their interest rate is, what their name is, what their job is, and what color shirt they wore yesterday. Our data is so incredibly amazing that it just makes investing here way easier. So if I were you, I would say, I'm going to do this virtually, and I'm going to pair up with people in America. And I do have a lot of UK students as well, so you can pair up with them, but they're all virtually investing online in America.
Okay, thank you. That's really helpful.
You're welcome. And you can go to bed now that you got your answer. I feel bad that you're up at 2:00 in the morning.
No, I want to be awake. I already slept at 7. I got up at 12:50 a.m. and 1 a.m. I'm here with my coffee and I want to join you for 3 days. I love it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We're going to have fun. I'm learning as well. Even though I do a lot of deals, I'm always learning new stuff. So you're welcome to hang with us for the next couple of days. I appreciate you so much, Tarishi. Good to meet you. And then let's see. Shelly, I'm going to pull you down, but thank you, Shelly, for helping us out so much. So Jenna, you're in charge. We got 28 more minutes until I let you go. Jenna, by the way, while you pull up DealSauce, what have you been going on? What's going on in your neck of the woods? You guys been expanding your family? You guys been buying more deals? What have you been doing?
Heck yeah. So like I'm in Southwestern PA. So that for everybody, that's where the Amish jokes come from. So I am in like a horse and buggy kind of town-ish. Like I don't personally have a horse and buggy, but they are around in some of the areas. But then I also do some virtual wholesaling in a couple counties in Massachusetts and so in some areas in Rhode Island. And I started expanding to Jacksonville, Florida now. So we're doing wholesaling, rehabbing. We have a couple cool projects. We were actually just featured on For the Love of Old Houses for a house we just did. We just finished. It was 153 years old. So it was built right after the Civil War ended.
That's like brand new in Massachusetts area.
I know. Like if you were to take this house and take it there, I probably could have got like millions more. But it was a 7-bedroom, 2-bath on 4.5 acres. It was this Gothic style brick house. I mean, it was beautiful. And we put it on the market and within a couple of days got several offers. So we were working on that for a while. That was a big project, but we're working on a couple other small things here and doing some wholesaling and building our rental portfolio. We're getting ready to buy a 58-unit portfolio. So owner finance. So
sounds
really,
like a scam.
It's not. It really isn't. It brings in $37K a month, and the guy wants $1 million and wants to owner finance me, but I offered him less. So yeah, so it was really, I mean, and I'm finding these deals here. Like I'm finding them in the software. We just have to know how to find them. We just have to know what to look for. So a lot of cool things. I mean, I when I picked up and started focusing on Rhode Island within a month, I was there twice, maybe 10 years or 5 years ago. I have a serious cash buyer up there. I started doing some marketing and within a month got my first wholesale deal up there. So I mean, I love how you're telling people to focus on particular areas, because once you know what you're doing, you can literally pack it up like a suitcase and wholesale or do anything creatively anywhere across the country. So, I mean, I love that you said that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't own one RV park in Arizona. Most of my stuff is virtual. I own it out of the state. We have our first RV park under contract. My team found it on DealSauce. And that's where I was like, okay, why am I not actually on DealSauce every day? I'm using old, outdated software every morning. I'm looking for deals. And I'm like, Jenna, will you please teach me how to use DealSauce? So, by the way, has everybody had fun today? Have you guys all gotten value for the last 2.5 hours? Give me yes or no. Tell me I suck. If I suck, tell me I suck. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys homework tonight. Somebody just said I suck. Thank you. But you stayed around for 2.5 hours. So I must be entertaining and suck at the same time. So you stuck around. I love it. Okay, here's our homework. Okay, the homework is that we are going to take our number one thing we learned today. By the way, we're going to spend another 25 minutes together. Lisa says, I had a major breakthrough. Perfect. This is actually the homework. How many people had like an epiphany in the way I taught today? That I taught some basics, some things that you needed to get out of the way, understanding why we do creative finance and all of those types of things. If you did, here's what I want everybody to do. Okay, I want everybody to go into the free Facebook group, which is the Creative Finance Facebook group today. And I want to swarm this Facebook group tonight. And I want you guys to do me a favor and just make a post about your epiphany or the biggest takeaway you took away today. Okay, I want you to go on here and just say, hey, today, like this. Take a screenshot, by the way, of me and Jenna. I'll do one right now. Watch, check this out. I'll show you guys how to do technology. Okay. Jenna, smile. Oh, she's always smiling.
So you're making me smile.
That's the thing about Jenna. She's always smiling. Okay, there she is.
That was not a good picture, but thanks.
Today I learned blank on the elephant challenge. Tomorrow we are going to learn about lists. Come join us on www.thebiggestchallengeever.com. Does everybody have their homework? Give me a yes. Okay. Please do me a favor. Tell me what your number one takeaway was. That's what I want to read today. What was the thing you took away? What was the breakthrough? What was the cool lesson you got? Oh my gosh, I didn't know that you could pull a foreclosure list so fast. Holy moly. Whatever it is, please go and do me a favor. Let's bring some more people in here. We want the Elephant Challenge to grow. I'd love to have 1,000 people here tomorrow. Sounds like we'll probably have somewhere around 800 minimum, but let's just see if we can get to, can you say the homework again? Cecilia says, Cecilia, the homework right here. You're going to go to the free Facebook group. Okay, I'll put the link to the free Facebook group in the side chat. Lorraine says Zillow is for date night. Yes, I agree. Zillow is for date night. Dang it, that's such a good t-shirt for DealSauce. Like whoever has a DealSauce, whoever is the owner of DealSauce should make a t-shirt that says Zillow's for date night. Okay, so what you're going to do is you guys are going to click on that link I just put in the side chat. It's going to take you to this Facebook group. You're going to make a post. This is your homework tonight. You're going to make a post and you're going to say, what is the number one thing you learned? What was your number one takeaway? And then you're going to tell people, hey guys, come in and join us tomorrow on the biggestchallengeever.com and invite people to come here tomorrow. We're not charging for this. We're going really slow. We want to make sure people learn. We want to make sure our free Facebook group gets better and better and better. And we want to make sure we provide a tremendous amount of value and teach people along the way. The more we teach people in the free Facebook group, the more deals are being done, the more deals are being funded, the more transaction coordinators are getting paid, the more people we're saving from foreclosure. So now that I've wasted another 3 minutes explaining the homework, Jenna, you want to walk me through the basics of DealSauce? Like, here's where you start every time. What happens if I get lost in the software? What if I get lost in the sauce and I'm like deep and I don't know how to get back to like the beginning? You want to teach me all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, and I saw one of the questions somewhere. I love how your group is just chatting. I think I saw something about trainings, and that's something that I think you know, because you originally had asked me about doing trainings a few months ago, but every 2 weeks I do a training with your group.
Yeah, you do a training inside of SubTo.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
I mean, so within, like I would have the opportunity to handhold everybody. So that would be the thing. So like if somebody becomes part of, our training, we could, eventually work together with them. But let me share my screen. And did you talk a little bit about like just different, you talked about different territories. Like I heard that, but I didn't hear some of the beginning stuff before I got on. Did you share with everybody about how to learn their market and things like that?
I haven't gotten there. I'm going to do that first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay, well then I won't show that on here because that's what I was gonna start out just by kind of giving you a quick overview of ways that we can understand where to invest things.
Really, I would love to learn that from you.
You want me to show you that real quick?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so like let's say if we were to go back to your Maricopa County here, like let's say that we're going back to this area, and this is something that we've recently put into this, and it is such a valuable tool because especially like people that are brand new, the things that they like I always hear is like, where should I do my marketing? Where should I start investing? Or you'll have other people say, I'm in an area where there's so much investor competition and there's no good deals here. And, all the good deals are being picked over. One of the cool things is like, if you were to come in here, you could search by county or even granular to zip code, but we have heat maps now. And this is going to be like valuable for a couple reasons. Like first off, it's going to give us an understanding of what the property values are per county. So let me kind of zoom out here just a little bit so you can see. So like what we can do is like we can kind of hover over these different areas. Like let's say that, like wherever you want to focus on. Like so if you're in Vegas and you need to know, kind of an idea of what average property values are.
Okay.
So we can see like average property values are somewhere around 431K. And we can even, like I said, we can be more granular. We can like go down like via like zip code areas. So like if you're, in this particular area and or like, let's just say you're right here, wherever this is in Utah, and you're like, man, property values are so expensive here. Like I'm having trouble wholesaling. I can't get anything cheap. If you see that property values are somewhere around 748,000, like what if we could like, come over here to this particular area, just like a couple miles away 571,000. So it gives us just a brief understanding of the market. So like we can come in here again, like we can zoom out, we can go nationwide and kind of like zoom into different areas. Like let's say that you wanted to be in southwestern PA because like that's the hub of the world. So you can come in here to my market here in the Pittsburgh area and just get an understanding of these different counties. And you can say, all right, like what's going on over here? Whatever the zip code is, houses are going for 4,000, but maybe it's just, not the best area. So then if you look at our overlays, we also have a breakdown of the flips per county and the flips per zip code. And this is super cool because you can come into these areas and just basically say, all right, if we're doing it by county, we can just get an understanding. Okay, let's just take Washington County here in southwestern Pennsylvania. We can see in the last year that there were 687 different flips and an average flip profit somewhere around 110K. Like that is so valuable for us to know. Like we can go granular. Of course, like we're really zooming in here, but like, what if we were to come in here to some of these different zip codes, like the zip code right here, 15323 in Pittsburgh area or a little south of Pittsburgh. There's only 7 flips that were done here with an average profit somewhere around in K. Like we can come over here, one flip that was done, 241K. But the coolest thing is that we recently just came out with is something called our Signal AI. Again, and this is going to be part of all of your software packages. So like this is something that you guys have an opportunity to have. This is where we're actually ranking different counties. So if you look at it, again, we all do it based on color coding, but you can come in here and we can basically say,
Jenna,
all right,
are you old enough to remember hotornot.com?
I do remember that.
So is this kind of like hotornot.com for real estate?
Kind of is, but it doesn't have those pictures that were worth it. Remember those pictures? And you would see some of those like people and you're like, oh my gosh, people were so cruel when they put those people on there.
They voted me as a 2.1 and I've been working really hard to get back up to a 4. So my feelings weren't hurt. I'm good.
The night's young. You still have a lot of chance. But again, like you can come in here and you can just see how we rank these different areas based on, a 10 scale. So again, you can come in here and kind of see, but it's basically whether we feel that it's decent markets to kind of flip in. So again, like you can kind of zoom out. But the main thing that I really love about it is just getting to know your area, getting to know your market, because a lot of times people will watch other investors in other markets, like me specifically. Like when I'm in southwestern Pennsylvania, my average property values are not anything, and most of them more than 200K. Versus if I'm like watching you in Phoenix and you have houses that are $600,000 to $800,000, I may over improve my properties. So this is so valuable for me to know, okay, if I have a $200,000 house, I need to understand it's a $200,000 market. Also figuring out what it is per zip code, because like some areas, like I also do some stuff in the Cleveland, Ohio area. And so when I'm doing that, like I may come in here and again, like there's certain, I don't want to be like rude about certain markets, but there's some parts of Cleveland that are a little bit less desirable than areas. But then you also have, it is so
looking at like, if I just am being really stupid and slow. Carlos says, Jenna, can we do skip tracing on this app? Of course. Also, if you guys don't ever want to skip trace, you can just go to free people. What is that called? TruePeopleSearch.com. If you're broke, just go to TruePeopleSearch.com if that's what you're into. That's free. Okay, so if I'm looking at the heat map, like red, yellow, all of that kind of stuff, what does your experienced brain translate that to? Does that mean there's a lot of activity there? Does that mean it's an expensive market? Does that mean people are making a lot of money there? Like, what does that shading tell you very basically as a seasoned DealSauce connoisseur?
Yeah, and we're going to be getting, because this is like so new that we've been really like revamping it, and we're going to be getting like a kind of like a little legend at the bottom. But the darker it is the more pricey that market is. And so like the reason that's like the way that I look at it is like something like this area. Like if I were to look at this and I see this is like a $700,000 or $800,000 market, to me that's a great rehabbing market or potentially wholesaling kind of a market. Obviously, like we can talk about ways of purchasing creatively and things like that. Versus if I were to come over here and I look at this area, 111,000, 148, like the night and day difference is so drastic. And this is why I love this section is like, if I'm in here in Cleveland, like I know that this may only be a couple miles away, but it goes from a $700,000 or an $800,000 market down to an $87,000 market. This tells me maybe this is a really good creative area where I can do some potential, like this is more of like a landlord market. Like this is more of turnkey. This is more of like if I can get these people like an $87,000 market. I mean, yeah, I could buy something here. I can do something specific, but to me, I don't have a like a $300,000 profit kind of opportunity here. Like the most my houses are selling for is 87,000. So to me, that's
Yeah.
probably a really good rental market, a really good creative section where I could potentially get them to do something creative for me because obviously it's not as desirable for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Versus here where I could do something that's more of like, I mean, I could make a huge amount like wholesaling here. And that's why I invest in multiple areas. Like where I am in Southwestern PA, I can make a wholesale deal in other parts of the country and make more than I make on a whole flip here, you know? So
Yeah.
like that's why it's so critical to know the different price points. But then again, like when you can take it more granular and basically say, okay, on top of that, like how many flips are being done in here and what are people making on average and what do you rank it on a 1 to 10 scale? So it's just a cool way for you guys just to get to know your area a little bit better. And also like if you're looking to invest other places, like if you're here and you're like, okay, well maybe I want to start focusing on, you know, parts of, Indiana or, I want to go up here to certain parts of Michigan because whatever reason, like this is apparently such a really hot area. I mean, I never knew that Michigan had such hot price points. So I really started looking at this. And I mean, like these are really, I mean, these price points are unbelievable. And again, like you just have to know what to do with those markets.
Okay, so let's translate what she said, even though she kept it really basic. I think most people got it, but let's just break it down. Alex says, can you show Indiana? Guys, here's what I would do. I would get the 14-day trial of DealSauce. We're going to be hanging out for the next couple of days. You might as well just get the trial, hang out with us. It comes with a trial, right? Yeah. Does this come with a trial?
Yeah, 14 days.
What? Give them a 2-day trial. Are you kidding me? These people are dead serious. They ain't no fake investors. They're real. The link is in the side chat, saucemydeals.com. It kind of sounds nasty. I don't know if Jenna came up with that or if one of her Amish friends came up with it, but it's a weird name. Saucemydeals.com. It's in the side chat. Okay. So if you guys just get a free trial, you'll be able to follow along with us all day tomorrow and all day the next day. Okay. So here's what I'm hearing. If I want to go make $200,000, how much, Jonathan? I don't know, probably $100. It's probably between $100 to $150 a month, probably. I imagine. B. Ren says, what's tomorrow's schedule? Same time, same place, 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock, 3 hours hanging out tomorrow, not dropping nothing but bombs. Okay. So Jenna, the shaded colors. Okay. So we're talking about like price point.
Yeah. Let me pull back up here.
The darker. Okay. Every time you pull that up, I got to unspotlight you and unspotlight me. So hold on a second.
Oh, sorry.
Don't be sorry. You're freaking awesome. Okay. So here's how reliable is skip tracing compared to batch leads. Guys, I don't even know that batch leads is still in business. Are you guys really asking that question? I don't know. Great question. I don't know anybody using batch leads. I haven't used batch leads in probably 5 years. Okay. So I see an expensive area. I know that's an area that I can do deeper wholesale deals, meaning my fix and flippers that I'm going to sell to have a larger margin there. If I'm going and focusing on an area that the average house that's selling is 65,000 or 200, like let's say 140,000 bucks, no fix and flipper is going to be able to make money on that. Therefore, how the heck am I as a wholesaler going to make money on that? So it's better for me to go and use those light shaded areas as rentals and go after cash flowing SubTo or seller finance deals. And the darker areas should be my wholesale and my fix and flip areas. That's what I'm hearing, correct?
Yes, that's how I look at it.
Eddie Salas says, what do you use then? My team has been using DealSauce. I don't find my deals anymore, guys. I have a team that finds my deals, negotiates my deals, contracts my deals, buys my deals, funds my deals, runs my deals, all of that stuff. And I have fallen behind the last 7 or 8 months of what they're using. And so I'm using the Elephant Challenge to get caught up to speed. Does that make sense? Can I find buyers and sellers on DealSauce? Yes. Tony Williams, have we shown you at least a foreclosure list? So you know where we can find sellers for sure. We'll show you how to find buyers tomorrow. Okay. Can you show an example of where to skip trace on the app? Yes, Carlos, we will do that tomorrow. Okay, great. So darker is going to be a more expensive area, which means larger spreads if I can buy them deep enough on both my wholesale and my fix and flip deals. If I'm focusing on the like lightly shaded areas, that means I can still wholesale there. I can still fix and flip there, but I'm probably going to have to buy really, really deep. Or I can wholesale a seller finance deal or wholesale a SubTo deal if I'm locking up deals in those less expensive parts. Dana Rayleigh says, do we use the same Zoom link for the rest of the week? I believe so, yes. Will you show us that tomorrow? Sure. Is this the best challenge for Gators to do? Vitali, where do you buy your weed? That's what I need to know. Please tell me you're buying it in Southwest PA. Okay. Tell me you are overthinking without telling
We
me.
just sell furniture and like eggs here. That's
Really?
we don't have that.
Okay. Can you tell me the difference between a Mennonite and an Amish person?
I think that the Amish are a little bit more traditional. I think Mennonite, they have like more current kind of lifestyles. Like I don't know if they are allowed more electric and phones and things like that. But I think they're kind of, both of them are very traditional.
Okay. No, I've never smoked weed. I've never drank alcohol in my entire life. Literally. I'm a Mormon. Even having Diet Coke is like a bad thing for me. And so I am a really bad Mormon because I have Diet Coke like twice a week. Okay. Literally never smoked weed. Never, even taking an Advil makes me afraid. Okay. Lee Zamir says, will you have recordings of the classes? Yes. Every night we will send you guys a recording of the class. All right. So I can do my heat map. I don't know that I would even care so much about the heat map right out of the gate. Is there any sort of heat map that shows a lot of activity, like a lot of fix and flippers, anything like that?
Well, it shows like how many flips there are in each area.
My gosh, I need to see that. Show me that.
Yeah. So if I want to come in here, like we can kind of zoom in and out, so we can basically see, it gives you kind of a breakdown, like, so wherever we are, somewhere in Indiana, because somebody said they wanted to see Indiana. So wherever Brown County is, we can see in the last year there was 103 flips with an average profit around $85,000 in this area. Versus some of these areas we're not able to pull because they may be like smaller counties, but like versus something like this one in Fulton, there was 11 flips in the last year with a profit of 27,000.
I remember you showing this. Derek says you were on your phone when she showed us. Yes, my team is trying to get a notary over to my house and asking me for the gate code to my house. I'm allowed to work on my business simultaneously, and I know that she showed us this already. Okay, gosh dang it, freaking guy calling me out. Okay, what else do you like about this app that like you can't get on Zillow? Anything that you're like, I wouldn't waste my time on Zillow because this exists over here?
Well, I mean, do you want me to like show some of this stuff, or are we waiting to show it? Because like one of the things I made a note on, like when you were talking about Zillow and you were talking about their filters and things like that, like some of the things that I'm really looking forward to showing to your group is when we come in here, like first off, we're pulling in live nationwide MLS data. And this is like so important for especially those of you who are in non-disclosure states, because I know that pulling comps is so difficult, like Texas and Kansas, Missouri, like all those different areas. So when you guys are trying to pull comps, it's so hard. So we're pulling in live nationwide MLS data, but also the last 5 years worth of data too. So we're pulling in all that information so we can see those sold values. But on top of that, like I know that you were talking about how we could search, like active listings and things like that, like we could pull that up. But one of the things that we can do here, like you were talking about how there's no filters on Zillow, like talking about date night, like one of the things that's so beautiful is like we could come into any particular area. Like let's say that we wanted to go to Phoenix, like your market here. So like if we wanted to come in here, once my internet wants to work. So if we want to go, to Phoenix, and let's say we want to select this, and we're going to talk again, we'll break all this down together. But if we wanted to come into Phoenix, and let's say that we wanted to look at active listings, like right now, it's the equivalent of like us being able to pull anything that's typical online, available on the MLS in your area. But the beautiful thing is,
just real quick, Anna Sue is actually asking a good question about the screen that you have up right now that you're also talking about right now. Anna, look on the side chat. You see how it says apartments and multifamily and other things? The answer is yes. It does off market, on market, every single thing you can. Here's the best thing. Here's the best thing that you should ask. Jenna, what does this thing not do? Is there anything that you wish this did that it doesn't do yet?
There's really and it's minor. Like the only thing is I keep trying to get us to incorporate DocuSign into the system. Other than that, that's it. And we're already working on ways to do electronic signatures, and we have some really cool stuff that's coming up. But other than that, I'm able to pull so many different things. Like when she's asking about on market and off market, like if you look here right now, everything that's not selected, I have active listings selected. Everything that's not selected, these are all off market, unlisted, advertised, off market deals that nobody else has access to unless they have a software system like this. And also, like, if you say, you know what, I only want off-market deals, that's fine. Let's go in here and let's exclude active listings. So if that's the case, like, we can come in here and we can pull 379,000 off-market deals in Phoenix. So places that are not actively listed. But if we are talking about actively listed ones, we're going to have like 3,000 or 4,000. But the part that I love about it, and we'll spend more time on this, because most people are like, why are you targeting on market deals? Like there's too much competition. Well, we could come in here first off, pull things like expired listings, but then we could come in here and put in words like TLC, investor special, cash, as is, like, handyman, like all these different specific keywords, like anything that we would think of that would be like very investor friendly words. And now we narrowed it down to 2 properties in
Oh my gosh.
a minute. And of course, like we can sort them, like we could come in here and say like, all right, let's sort it by list price. And so like, it's going to show us the cheapest ones first. So, like some of them are going to be like, like some are going to be like somewhat, good deals. Like it all depends on like what you're looking for. Like if you don't want, like some of them are going to, maybe be more towards like rentals or something like that. But like we can click on any one of these different properties, like, and first off, like we can see the agent contact information, like we can see the agent phone number, we can see the agent email, of course, like, we can pull up images of it. Like in something like this, you can see like this, it's pulling up this one based on like out of state investor, but like in most cases, a great investment property, it's weeding out all the ones that maybe not the best for us. Like they may not be the absolute best deals. So we can click on them. We can look at the images. This one right here, like, again, like, I don't know if this is just, okay. So like, let's take a peek at this one. So, for whatever.
Hey, Diedrich Harvey, I gotta, like, this is the craziest question that people will not stop asking. Diedrich Harvey, my friend, it's a good, crazy question. So I thank you for asking it. Diedrich, what up, homie?
What up? What up?
Diedrich, do you remember the part where she said this pulls directly from the MLS?
I do remember hearing that. The reason why I asked my crazy question is because your friend, your uncle Cardone, has kind of a similar deal, and the accuracy was lacking. That's why I'm kind of. Do you see what I'm saying? So
here's a good question: does Cardone do single family?
No, he doesn't.
No,
definitely he doesn't.
If you're looking for like multifamily data,
even in that was still a lot of inaccuracies.
Okay, cool. So here's what we'll do tomorrow. Here's what I would do: get the 2-day or get the free trial. Here's what I want you to do: get the free trial, go and pull the same data that you did previously on other software, and tomorrow come in and go, hey, I have a question about X, Y, and Z. Tell me that you can't get quality data, and let's call out Jenna.
I love it. Prove it perfect. That works beautifully for me, because then it makes me use this software, and I know I'm accurate. I don't have to keep double checking my information.
Yeah, and the other thing too for me is the companies I've used in the past. This is why my team has gone away from other softwares. My team has moved over to DealSauce because when they say, hey, we want a new feature, DealSauce will literally just make it, and they actually listen. Like Privy, who I really like, Privy's like, nope, we're an on-market platform. We're not going to do any of these foreclosure things. We're not going to do off-market stuff. It's like, okay, but you're charging $150 a month, and I don't have access to all these other things. Meanwhile, DealSauce does everything Privy does, everything PropStream does, everything Batch Leads does, all for the same price of all 3 of them, all 3 of their features for the same price as one. And so my team,
commercial?
What's that?
They do commercial too, or is it just residential?
Who?
Any of those companies?
No, they don't do anything. So we do more.
Yours does commercial too.
You're going to surprise Diedrich tomorrow.
I mean, I just want you guys to know that. I mean, this is really powerful that you created.
Guys, we have commercial. The one that I'm really excited about is I can pull up, if I'm a gator, I can pull up every fix and flipper in the market, and I can reach out to the fix and flippers and say, do you need money? If I'm looking for private money, guess what you can find here on DealSauce? You can find all the people that are doing private money lending in the country. No software I've ever seen does that, ever. That alone, if I'm just raising capital, that alone's worth $500 a month. So do you guys see why my team has switched over to a software that just does it all for the same price as all of them?
Yes.
Okay. So
I love how you don't stay loyal if they don't work with what you need, like you evolve.
Well, Diedrich, here it's not even me. Here's the thing. My team, we have a big brand, obviously, in real estate. If my team is teaching and we're loyal to one company or another, and they're not willing to pivot or move or do whatever, guess what I'm also doing? People come to me and ask for my advice. And if I go, no, I'm sticking with Privy because let's say Privy pays me, which they don't. But let's say Privy was paying me and I'm like, no, I got to stay with them because I have an affiliate code with them. Dude, I could give a crap about that because I'm now robbing thousands of people from actually using software that will change their life. And so for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, my team is in love with this software. How do I adopt it? How do I learn it? My team's like, dude, figure it out on your own. I'm like, I ain't figuring it out. So I literally text Jenna. I was like, will you teach me how to use DealSauce? I am not loyal to anything other than the people that are learning from us because those are the people we collaborate with, we lend money to, we do deals with, we buy deals from, we borrow money from. We are loyal to the people that we are doing deals with. And if the software companies are not willing to add things, we are not willing to continue to send business their way. And so when we do these challenges, like we did the elephant challenge, the last time we did it was 2 years ago, and we would send Privy 600 to 700 new clients a month. And when I said, can you guys add foreclosures? Can you add this? Can you add that? Their answer was, no, that's not what we do. I'm like, but that's what our clientele needs. Can we add that as a feature? Sorry, no. Okay, no problem. I get it. You're going after whatever you're going after, but you're definitely not going after my clientele because they want to learn how to do everything. So the answer is we want DealSauce to pay attention to where they're doing well, double down on it. And if they're missing something, Diedrich, please come back and tell us. Here's the thing about Uncle G. Will you ever be able to talk to him directly on a Zoom like this?
No.
Ain't happening. And so I love Uncle G. He's been on my TV show. I text him. I don't know. They just texted me a couple of weeks ago saying, hey, will you help Grant put some meetups together in California to run for governor? I'm like, hell yeah, I love the guy. But he's not going to the software companies and saying, hey, my clientele and the people I'm doing deals with need better accuracy on the data. And you're missing private money lenders. You're missing flippers. You're missing commercial. You're missing this. DealSauce is the only company I've ran into that is open to expanding and adding new things. That's it. Cedric says, will you show us how to find private money lenders? Do you guys kind of feel like maybe we have a game plan of like how to show this to you the right way? Would it hurt your guys' feelings just to like follow along for the next 2 days? Okay, just follow the game plan. You're here. I taught you some things to get some mindset stuff straight, to teach you guys what kind of sellers we're going after. Let's just do it the right way, guys. Stop asking questions like my kids do. And they're like, are we there yet? I shouldn't have even told you guys we were going to Disneyland because now all you can think about is that Disneyland exists. Okay, Jenna, we're going to have a lot of what? Are you showing up for the whole thing tomorrow or no?
I think I'm showing up for 2 hours tomorrow.
Okay, so you'll be, instead of you showing up 2 hours into it, you're going to show up for an hour into it.
That's how you'd still like me to show up.
Yes, I'd love that. That'd be great. So guys, here's what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to talk about how to choose your specific market because a lot of people that are new are like, where do I start? I'm going to teach you guys how to choose your market specifically. We're also going to see what we're going to do is we're going to try and pair you guys up with each other. So you guys have some buddy system, holding some people's hands and doing some basic homework together. People are asking me, hey, I want to get my first deal. Bro, if I had you calling sellers and agents right now, there's people in here that are like, I wouldn't even know what to say. And if I gave you a script 14 seconds into the conversation, you still are not going to know what to say. Don't worry about getting your first deal right now. Let's worry about learning these things for the next couple of days. I'll show you how to get your first deal on day 4. Okay. On day 4, I'll show you how to get your first deal. Day 1, 2, and 3, we got to get our mindsets right. We got to get all that stuff cleaned up. You guys learned a bunch today. We're going to learn more for an hour tomorrow. And then for 2 hours tomorrow, we're going to be on the software. Okay. So for those of you guys here's what I would do. I would get the software free trial. Link is in the side chat. Get the software free trial. And what I would do is it's saucemydeals.com. Get the free software or the free trial. It's 14 days. Here's what I would do. I'd mess around with it tomorrow. Like tonight, maybe tomorrow morning, jump into it. See if you can figure it out. And then tomorrow you'll have a better grasp of like where everything is. And then as Jenna and I are going through each feature and how to pull lists and how to find sellers, how to find buyers. On day 3, we're going to start doing outreach. So I'm going to show you guys tomorrow how to pull a list. On day 3, I'm going to start calling people and showing you guys how simple this business can be. And on day 4, we'll teach you even more. So get the free trial, Sauce Your Deals, or is it Sauce Your Deals? SauceMyDeals.com. Sorry, I don't know the link, guys. So, Alicia says, sorry about your throat. You know, that's the life I live. Christy, yes, I will be at Aspire Tour tomorrow. I speak right after Dean Graziosi. I was just texting him a couple minutes ago. Pace, my Facebook has been disabled because I use another Facebook account for my current job. So how would I go about just doing deals at this point? Ivan, would you say that that's a question on topic or off topic? Y'all just get in your own way, don't you? Like, you know what? How can I just get in my own way and like overthink everything? Bro, you're in a challenge with 900 people that started off this morning. Just hang for the next couple of days. How many people in here went to college for 4 years, have now been in a job you have for 15 years and wish you didn't go down that 19-year path? How many people are like, it wasn't 19, but it's 12 or 11 or 8 or whatever? How many people? Give me a may or a yes. Okay. Isn't it amazing that people will go 4 years to college, 6 years to college, go get a job for 8, 10 years, but then they can't waste 3 hours hanging with me and Jenna for 3 days in a row without just getting a deal right now? Man, you were patient for your boss. You worked 10 years of your life for somebody else. The least you can do is put 9 hours of your life together and hang out with me and Jenna, who's pretty freaking awesome, and just have some fun. Okay? Just chill. Have fun. We're going to go slow. Stop getting ahead of yourself. Okay? By the way, was Jenna awesome tonight or what? Give me a me. I love Jenna. She's awesome. How many people enjoyed her? Say me. Jenna, what's your Instagram so people can go follow you?
Jenna buys houses.
I think I've asked you this question. How did you get that freaking Instagram? Somebody should have stolen that well before you got it.
I have it on every platform. Originally, when I first got into real estate, one of my mentors told me when I was making bandit signs back 12 years ago, he said, go put Jenna buys houses on everything. He said, women will be more comfortable talking to you. And he said, not to be rude, but men will feel, it's just, I'm talking to a woman. So he said, they'll be more comfortable calling you too. And I started doing that. I got a little cartoon logo because I didn't know what to put on my business cards. So I'm like, do I wear a suit? Do I like pose like this? So I got a little cartoon logo and it like blew up and it was everywhere. So then I ended up like trademarking it because I was having people like take my phrases and like put it on all their stuff. So I had to trademark it. But yeah, so that's how I just got it. Cause I mean, I just buy houses and I just figured it was easy and it told everybody about what I do and who I am. And that's what I did.
I appreciate you coming, hanging out with us. This is the revival of the Elephant Challenge. We haven't done it in 2 years and having you back is a lot of fun. So thank you for being here. And everybody's got their homework. Go to the free Facebook group, make a post, tell everybody we're going to be in here tomorrow working the software. Tell them what your number one thing was that you took away. Anna, we appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Guys, we will see you tomorrow. 3 more hours from 4 o'clock Arizona time to 7 p.m. We went a little bit longer today, just 12, 13 minutes. We'll go another 3 hours tomorrow, another 3 hours the next day, and we'll probably cap it up on day 4 for like 4 hours, showing you how to get your first deal on day 4. Day 1, day 2, day 3, we're just doing baby steps, helping you guys understand this business. Tomorrow, we're going to start out by teaching you how to choose a market. So you can go, all right, I can delete 49 states out of my mind. I'm going to focus on this state and I'm going to focus on this city and I'm going to focus on this strategy. I'll make sure you guys understand the steps, how to get that in the first hour tomorrow. So show up on time. Hell, show up 5 minutes early. Prove to your mom that she was wrong, that you show up late to everything. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Elephant Challenge Day 2. Thank you so much again, Jenna. You're incredible. We appreciate you.
I'll see you guys.